the chat's displaying correctly in game. Now it doesn't have that giant blue ugly box around there. Here we are. We should be back, everybody. So how's everyone doing tonight? I hope you got the lights turned off. And your favorite stuffed animal to grab onto, because hopefully this is where the game starts getting scary. We've had, like, not 8... Actually, no, around 8 hours of gameplay. And we're still not getting to the horror parts of Chapter 2 yet. Although last time we had the crazy plot twist that, spoilers for anybody who didn't watch last stream, but if you're here, I assume you're acquainted with the previous streams. Last stream we learned that Mion and Shion actually are two different people, and they are twins, even though we never learned about that in Chapter 1, which seems very, very strange. Either that, or maybe Shion was in Chapter 1, and they were doing a swap, and maybe that's why Mion was going crazy, because it was actually Shion, or one or the other. Maybe one of the twins is evil. That's the only explanation. Uh-oh. Is chat not displaying at all on screen now? It better be displaying on screen. Hang on, if I type something. Like if I type test. Okay, good. It does appear. Thank goodness. I was a little worried for a second there. You have 20... That's why I said your favorite DX. I didn't say all of them. The thing of Higurashi is that it isn't mostly horror, depending on what the anime shows, or despite what the anime shows and what expectations Chapter 1 gives you. Oh, I thought Chapter 1 was not super horror until later on, because they were trying to, like, kind of trick you like Doki Doki Literature Club, where it's like, oh, it's a nice, wholesome visual novel, kind of, sort of, and then, creepy, to drag you in. But I thought once you kind of knew it was a horror game, it would be a horror game. Okay. Well then, grab onto all 20 of them, alright? There. That's how it's going to work. Anyways, we're continuing, and we are loading... Yes, end of Chapter 5. Here we go. Chapter 5 of Chapter 2. Yes, I'm pretty sure we went through the tips. It hasn't been a while. Did we see this one already? I guess I forget if we saw this one or not. I'll figure it out pretty quickly.
だから初めましてじゃないですって。昨日まで毎日お会いしてたじゃないですか。
もういい。お前がそうだって言うならそういうことでいい。
Someone from Shion's house came to get me in a station wagon. Oh wait. Yeah, we had seen this. This is where we met her bodyguard. Okay, never mind. Is there a way to go back now? There we go. Yeah, we met her bodyguard, who, like, drove us in the car, and he looked, like, crazy ripped. Alright, let's continue. I like mysteries. I'm down for the mystery aspect of things. But also, it's Halloween time, so if they want to get more psychological horror, I'm actually okay with that. But all right. I would use this horror in different ways with each chapter. That's kind of cool. I just hope they don't go heavy in jump scares, because those aren't actually scary. The next day. Oh, how are we going to deal with the fallout for this? It was a strange day where Mion was desperate to regain her composure. Every time our eyes met, she would say that she had something to do, or that she had to use the washroom and run off. Unable to just watch, Rena was taking care of her the entire time. Great, so it's gonna be us and Satoko. I wonder why. It is hard to explain, because I still don't think it makes perfect sense right now, but maybe it'll add up more later on. Based Rika. Alright. Turning around, I saw Rena calling me from the hallway. I wondered what it was. Hey, Rena. Are you gonna stab me? Yeah! We thought we were going out with Mion, but we were actually dating her twin sister, kind of, sort of. Don't laugh at that! It's kind of a bad situation. Good. You gotta turn the crank to
よく直せたな。
reboot her.
一体どうやって？
うん、テレビと同じ。斜め45度くらいの角度で、えいって。
I was joking, Rena. Saying that, she made a chopping motion. This was back in the days when the TV had the two bunny ear antenna and you had to maneuver them around to get the proper reception. You know I can't tell if you're joking or not, right?
明日からは大丈夫だから。だけど、ケイチ君にもお願いしたいことがあるの。
悪気はないんだが、なぜか罪の意識もある。
I miss the days when there were only two channels and only one of them actually got pictures. The best channel, obviously, was PBS.
何でも聞くぞ。
助かる。みーちゃんはね、昨日までの数日間のこと、なかったことにするから。
Because that's healthy. Never happened, huh? I see. Well, that's one way to run from it.
だからね、ケイチ君もなかったことにしてあげて。それでみーちゃん、いつも通りだから。
そんな簡単なことで本当に大丈夫なのか？
It's not gonna be that simple.
みーちゃんの心の整理がつくまでそっとしておいてあげてよ。
I don't think Shion's gonna be like, excuse me, we're definitely dating now.
分かったよ。
That's good. I'm looking forward to that then. Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I felt guilty. The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation and pretended to be Mion for an entire day. Shion! Well, technically speaking, Shion never said she was Mion. But she never once said that she was... Yeah, see, exactly. What am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Rena giggled.
でも、ケイチ君も分かったでしょ？みーちゃんにも可愛いところがあるんだって。
Rena talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind.
ああ、退屈しないやつだということが分かった。
よかった。
Following this curt reply, Rena looked up at the sky and stretched.
ケイチ君がそれに気づいてくれれば、この数日間の出来事はすぐに笑い話になるんだよ。
Uh-huh. I kind of doubt that. Copying Rena, I also began to stretch as I looked at the sky. The clear sky towered into the distance.
今日は部活も何もなし。今日だけは申し訳ないけどケイチ君、下校は一人でいいかな。
Oh, sweet,
明
yes.
日からは元通りだから、今日だけ。
Now I can ride my Segway home. If all it took for everything to go back to normal was to leave Mion alone for today, then it was an easy decision to make.
分かったよ。ミオンに面と向かって言えないからレナに言っとく。なんだか申し訳ないな。謝る。
元はといえば、ケイチ君が無神経なことを言うからいけなかったんだよね。
That's true.
これに懲りて少しはデリカシーってものを身につけるんだよ。
I get that.
へいへい努力します。
I'm more of a big picture type as well. I don't deal with a whole lot of the nuances of things. That day was the shortest day of my life. Rena was talking to Mion while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflexively thought about joining in, but I had made a promise not to. It seemed that Mion was also trying her best to ignore me. So likewise, I did my best to ignore her. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Rena ate theirs by themselves. As I let out a sigh in my ashen mood, Rika-chan came over and petted me on the head. Okay.
ケイチもミーもいっぱいいっぱいお勉強しましたですね。
Rika, no offense, but I don't think you're quite aware of the situation we're in right now. I'd never say it like that. It made it sound like we were having romantic problems. I didn't like that one bit. Hopefully the teacher wouldn't notice and call us to the staff room after school or something.
きっとケイチは素敵な大人になれますですよ。
I hope so.
なでなで。
リカちゃんはお勉強家だからすごい素敵な大人になれそうだな。
もちろんなのですよ。僕は大人になったらすごいのです。あら、私も大人になったらすごいレディーになるんですのよ。
We'll see about that one, Satoko.
サトコはいくつになってもお子様だと思うね。かけてもいい。
I don't think you call them brats once they're adults. You call them something else.
なんですって
As Satoko snapped her fingers into a wash basin fell from above, hitting me squarely in the head. That was weird. I love how she's like, how dare you call me a brat, then immediately does something bratty. Haha, harmless pranks, haha. Bane smash, pinch squeeze. It was a day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. I'm so glad I have friends who dump buckets of water on my head. Go figure. It's a new day! I could do without the friends that beat me up, though. That's not a great one. I didn't say that specifically. I did not say that. Today was Saturday, so school ended in the blink of an eye. I was going to say you call them high maintenance. It felt really good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. On any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time, but today Rika had a rehearsal for tomorrow's Watanagashi to go to.
リカちゃんはどんな調子？練習はバッチリ？
去年よりは頑張りますです。
去年は終わった後、ヘトヘトの汗だらけだ
Well,
った
that's
んだよ
okay.
ね。
She found all 10 power nuts in between the years, so she's pretty swole now.
今年はもっともっと様になってますわよ。特訓の成果、ご期待あそばせですの。
The chapter 2 is called Watanagashi, so I have to imagine there's something really big that's going to happen there. The Watanagashi festival everyone had been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? Actually, come to think of it, in chapter 1, it was right around when at the end of the festival that things started getting creepy, so... The festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so the fit of the image of a summer festival fit pretty well.
じゃあ僕たちは失礼しますです。
We?
明日を楽しみになさいませ。
Oh, is Satoko going
そ
to?
れではごきげんようですわ。
Okay. Bye. Satoko and Rika waved to us energetically and then left.
そういえば聞いてなかったんだけど、祭り会場ってどこなんだ？この辺って祭りのできそうな場所なんてあったっけ？
It's at your house!
フルデ神社でやるんだよ。ほら、以前にみんなでお散歩した時に行ったでしょ。あの見晴らしの良かったところ。
Coming back from chapter 1, I don't mind the, like, slice of lifestyle thing. I do think it's annoying when it gets, like, overly... uncomfortable. And like, ah ha ha ha, Keiichi, haha, you're a pervert, haha. Like that kind of thing. Or like spending 2 hours at Hooters one day. I could do without that. I don't mind the day-to-day interactions though. It's just a lot of the time it's like, wow, these people are psychos. Plus, I felt the story got way more interesting once you had kind of the creepy stuff happening. Yeah! Exactly, exactly. Oh, right, I remember. There was a shrine all the way up on that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa.
神社には立派な集会所とかもあって、老人会のカラオケとか、習字サークルの会合とかを時々やってるからね。
Karaoke at the shrine tonight!
単なる神社というよりは、公共施設のような雰囲気だね。
なるほどね。それなら立派なのも納得かな。
みーちゃんちも今日の設営にはお手伝いに行くの？
うん、男手がいるからね。
We have the men for that.
町から親類が大勢手伝いに来るよ。
Male hands, huh? Well, I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so...
俺みたいのが飛び入りで参加すると、かえって邪魔になるか？
That's very nice of you, Keiji.
ケイちゃん、手伝いに来てくれるの？
迷惑なら行かねえよ。単なる興味だからさ。
We had bond dances and other festivals in the town I used to live in, but I didn't even know where they took place, much less wanted to help. You could say that I had absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa, though, it really made me feel like this place was a home that I had returned to. Before I knew it, I harbored a little interest in the small community activity of preparing for a festival the day before. I get that.
頑張れるかな？テントを立てたり、パイプ椅子を並べたり。結構重労働って聞いてるよ。
I don't want to brag, but I've helped take down the chairs at the end of church meetings, so I'm pretty strong.
別に俺一人でやるわけじゃないだろ。 みんなでやればきっと早いぜ。
How about we change the demographic for visual novels? Mion looked happy to hear that, but at the same time her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. This is why Ace Attorney is the best visual novel, because it's interesting and funny, but without doing all of these cliche anime tropes. Rena gave her the last push for me.
じゃあ決定だね。行ってきなよケイチ君。
Yeah!
ビシビシこき使ってあげてね。
Okay, Rena.
レナの推薦じゃ仕方ないな。じゃあさ、帰ったらラフな格好
I wonder if we get to meet her grandma.
汗拭き用のタオルもあるといいかもね。
I am interested to meet her grandma.
よし来た。俺こう見えても太陽の下で汗をかくの嫌いじゃないんだぜ。
せいぜい腰を痛めないようにね。じゃあおじさんはこの辺で。私も着替えたらすぐに神社に行くから。
みーちゃんも頑張ってね。バイバイ。
Mion waved vigorously to us and left. As far as I could tell from her gallant retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday.
女の子は切り替えが早いんだから。もうみーちゃんも大丈夫だよ。
うん。あれだけ綺麗に切り替えてくれるとこっちも実に合わせやすい。
でも面白かったでしょ。シンデレラみたいっていうのかな。魔法が解けたらもう会えないってところが。
Sure! Rana began to giggle a fair bit in amusement. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with it gave me a weird, hard-to-describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything, or did they do it for me? Her grandma's probably the type to ask, where do you go to college? Yeah, I don't know. We don't know a whole lot about her grandma, other than that, like, she's got a lot of connections, and she kind of helped out with the protesting the dam construction. Also, it's interesting because Rena, it seemed like she was kind of like hardcore crushing / stalking us in Chapter 1, and now she seems to be like kind of shipping us with Mion.
そんなに面白いならレナももう一人の自分を演じればいいじゃないか。
面白そうだね。じゃあケイチ君はどんなレナに会いたいかな。
The one that doesn't try to break into my house.
アイドル真っ青のルックスと俺の言うこと何でも確実に聞く器量よして頼む。
There it is. That's the kind of thing that I'm not cool with.
そんなの無理。
That's just unseemly, Keiji.
料理上手でお昼のお弁当を作ってくれて朝は迎えに来てくれて。
それいつもやってる。
What the heck? I pull Rena's head into a tight grip and then start to pet it.
優
That's
遇レ
weird.
ナなんだろ。レイナじゃなくてレナ。だからレナはいつまでもレナのまんまでいろ。
Oh, that's right. Her real name is Reina, isn't it? Because we had a skit about that in Chapter 1.
ありがとう。お祭りのお手伝い頑張ってね。
おう、明日祭りで会おうな。
I got changed right away, and slinging a towel around my neck like Mion suggested, I set off for the shrine. And that beeping robust cicada. Yeah! But she still went hardcore stalker mode, so... Man, that was the creepiest part of Chapter 1 by far, was Rena stalking us. At the shrine, there were more people than you'd imagine even live in Hinamizawa here. Yes, look at all of the people here that we can see. All cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Alright, where is Mion? The liveliness of the throng didn't make it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I had already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me. Yes, Principal!
綿流しの準備のお手伝いに来たのかね。
ああ、どうも。何かお手伝いできないかなって思いまして。
首相な心がけである。
Oh yeah, Principal's gonna love
存
that.
分に汗を流すがよい。
Thanks, man! I appreciate it. Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up tents.
ありゃ前原の兄ちゃんじゃねえの。
Vying is the worst thing you can do, apparently.
ひょっとして手伝いに来たのかい？
I hadn't found Mion yet, but I supposed I'd just get in her way if I ran into her.
よっす。手伝いに来ました。よろしくお願いします。
若いのは元気があっていいね。ほら軍手つけて。 テントは組んだことあるかい？
いえ、初めてっす。
Well, you're gonna learn. Delighting in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things. I love it when that's a thing. It's kind of annoying if you try to do something that you don't know and like people kind of tease you or make fun of you for it. I like it when people are just like, "Oh, hey, you want to learn a new skill? Cool, I'll help you out." But oftentimes I find people do that more than like be like, "Oh, how do you not know how to skin a moose?" I don't know why I use that as an example.
結んだら足を立てて残りの紐も結ぶからな。
蝶々結びでいいんですよね。よいしょ、よいしょ。
結んだか。立てるぞ。いっせーの。
What was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on 4 splendid legs before my eyes in mere moments. Whoa. Seeing it put together like this is actually pretty moving.
ほれほれ。感動してる場合じゃないぞ。
That's the first tent. We got like 70 more to set up.
まだまだたくさんあるんだからな。
Yep.
トラックにテントを積んであるからここまで持ってきな。重いから2人でやれよ。
大丈夫っすよ。俺こう見えても
Keiichi,
あるんすから。
listen to the nice man. That's true. He is definitely trying to like be more one with the community, and that might help things out a bit more. Cause like everything started to go wrong in Chapter 1 when he's like, everybody's conspiring against me. But I don't think he'll be feeling that this time. I also still have no idea how this is connecting to Chapter 1. I'm just treating them as like parallel universes. They look light enough, so I thought they were, but they're heavy.
だから2人で運べって言ったろ。
Yeah, listen to man. Has man ever steered you wrong,
ほれほ
Keiichi?
れ
Said the man, lifting it with a grunt and taking it away under his arm. Either I'm weak or these old guys all have superhuman
ほ
strength.
ら一番若いんだから果てしないとダメだぞ。
Understood.
頑張れ頑張れ。終わった後のビールがうまいぞ。
Yeah, aren't you a little young to be drinking beer?
俺未成年だし。
Not today, not in Hinamizawa. Sweat dripped from my body. That does happen. I had been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. I would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious.
若いからね。担当のみ。
Thank you, Senior.
ありがとう
I
ござい
mean,
ます。
Senior. It was then that I realized a crowd had formed near the shrine a ways off. CG? When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in a shrine maiden garb, and a handful of old men looking like they were preparing for the ceremony together.
リカちゃんか？おーい、リカちゃん、頑張れよ。
I shouted, and it seemed like she heard me. There she is! Yay! I like the shrine maiden outfit on her. It's very nice, very modest. Very nice. Rika, positively exploding with vitality, answered me with a smile. The older guys with me watched Rika-chan as well, with distant gazes.
リカちゃまも頑張るな。
Chama?
去年に比べるとだいぶ板についてきたみたいだしな。
Well, she had some time to practice. The old lady who gave me the tea clasped what looked like prayer beads in her hands and said,
リカ様、ありがたや。
Sama, that's going a bit far. And just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Don't pray to people, no, huh? I just remembered that they called it the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika-chan's full name Rika Furude? Yes, it is. The man standing next to me answered my question.
そうだよ。リカちゃまのフルデ一族は代々大社様をお祭りする由緒正しい一族なんだよ。
Yeah, I don't want to worship Satan. Huh. I'd always gotten the feeling that she wasn't quite your average person, but it turned out she was from an esteemed family.
昨年神主様だったお父さんが亡くなられてからはああやって頑張って祭事を引き継いでおるんだよ。
Yeah, it's gotta be rough losing your dad when you're like, what, 10?
この立派になった姿、神主様に見せたかったの。
え、リカちゃんのお父さんってお亡くなりになったんですか？
よし休憩終わり。
Alright, enough of the lore.
次は使わないパイプ椅子を沖標の体育館に戻しちゃおっか。
Oh boy!
マキさん、K を回して何人か連れてってよ。
I'm really good at carrying chairs.
じゃあ前原君、最後にもう一働き。
We're going to Okinomiya, so we're probably gonna see Shion. Yeah! She's supposed to be the reincarnation of Oyashiro, so the old people treat her like a mini goddess. It's kind of weird. Well, I'm sure Rika doesn't mind because she's being worshipped, but I'm just saying this is heresy. You're gonna make me do more work? You volunteered. I can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but the older men all cheer me on, encourage me to do my best, and that the beer will be great. Beer is, like, not a very good, type of alcohol. Although, admittedly, I don't like alcohol, but my favorite alcoholic beverages have been ales. Just because it's like, it's liquid bread, but I'd still rather eat real bread. That's true. It wouldn't be an interesting visual novel character if they didn't have some kind of a tragic or interesting backstory. I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. It looked like she was right in the middle of working as well. Judging by the sweat seeping into her shirt, it seemed I wasn't the only one with his hands full.
おー頑張ってるぜミオンも頑張れよビールがうまいぞ
We were worked to the bone until the sun began to set and it started cooling off. Watch! We're gonna go to Okonomiya, and they're gonna be like, alright, we got the chairs in. Hey, let's go to Hooters and have a beer. That's totally... Oh, wait! Maybe not. Oh, we're still here at the shrine. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higurashi eased the moderate pain I felt. The older guys began their night-before drinking party in a tent in the fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. The shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely road tickled by the cool evening breeze, despite it being so festive just a little while ago. The wind felt good. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine. I gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander. Then suddenly a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust before me.
ケイちゃんお疲れ様。
Oh, Shion came to
はい
us.
麦茶です。
お気が利くなサンキューみ
Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different.
あお前は
どうもシオンです。
Surprise! It's me with the free fingers.
気が利いているのはシオンの方。聞いてないのがミオンの方ですのでお間違いなきよう。
Oh, don't trash talk her.
シオンてめえここで会ったが100年目
ケイちゃんが勝手に勘違いしたんですよ。私は初めからシオンとしか名乗ってませんし。
That is true.
それを言われると弱い
But I want to know why you weren't in Chapter 1. And why the game literally basically said, oh yeah, they're the same person. Oh, surprise! You're an idiot for thinking they're the same person.
そうそう。お姉にすらかなわないケイちゃんが私にかなうわけないんですからね。
Uh-huh.
それより麦茶。ぬるくなっちゃいますよ。
うん
もう機嫌直してください。
They actually sound different, though.
だからこれ仲直りの麦茶ってことで。
Well, she did come all the way here to give it to me. I guess I'll accept it. I took the cup and downed it in one gulp. And then suddenly, ah! I heard a loud shout and it got stuck in my throat.
今度はどっちだ本物のミオンか
I'm pretty sure the one in the yellow shirt is Mion, since she's always in the yellow shirt.
お姉と違って私は気配りとかできるタイプですか
To
ら。
be fair, you don't have a monopoly on my time, Mion.
汗だくになってたケイちゃんを放っておけなくて麦茶を持ってきたわけです。
Also, between the two of you, Shion has definitely treated us better than you have. Just throwing that out there. I'm not saying I don't respect your feelings, but I am saying if I was in this situation, I'd be leaning towards Shion. Yeah, it is definitely the same voice actress, but definitely does a good job of like deflecting between the two, where they give her more like the... You can't see my mouse cursor. They give Mion the more like ah voice, and Shion the more like quieter, like feminine voice. It's very nice.
ところでお姉はなんで麦茶を2つも持ってるんですか？
I really like tea. Mion's face went bright red, and she tried to hide the paper cups behind her back.
いやこれは
I got you for this for you.
大雑把で自分さえ良ければいいお姉がクラスメートの男の子
Okay,
に
Shion,
海外しく麦茶を持ってくる
I
わ
wanted
け
to
ない
give you the
です
benefit
よ
of the
ね
doubt, but you've got some pretty evil-looking sprites going on right now. Like, come on, you could totally take that sprite and reuse it for, like, she's about to shoot us in the face. You could totally do that.
結局何なんです？
Same with that one.
その2つの麦茶は
これはその すっごく喉が渇いちゃって2杯は飲めるかなーなんて。
Give me on the that I don't know why I did tried to do a more manly voice, so I'm like, I'm Mion. I'm a tomboy. Hi, I'm Shion. I'm the girly girl. Kind of. At least that's what the game is trying to tell us. Chug, chug, chug! As Shion cheered at her, Mion downed both of the cups of tea, one after the other. Oh man, who put paprika in the tea again?
さすがはおね、見事な飲みっぷりでした。
Hey,
拍手拍手。
they have a weird dynamic going on here. It seems Shion really likes getting Mion's goat. Oh, I give her a hand. Wait, suddenly the situation has gotten unbelievable. When? I just don't know. Mion doesn't usually get manipulated so easily like that. I've known her for a good while now, but Shion is terrifying.
ミオンってシオンには頭上がらないのか？
私シオン嫌い。
Oh,
この
snap.
前からもっと嫌いになった。
Just then, I heard the snap of a camera shutter. This better give us a CG. Oh, hey! Well, you're in luck, DX. It's Best Boy. And Creepy Girl, his girlfriend. Wow, they're back! It's Tomatake, and I don't even remember her name. I just remember she was, like, blatantly making kind of creepy faces, and I'm like, heh, Oyashiro-sama's gonna kill you. Just kidding! And then we died. Actually, if I remember... Okay, never mind. She looks very nice in this art style. That's right, in the console art style, she has this very condescending look, like, Alright, here we go. let's figure out what her name is again. Hey, can I have a photo of me with the two girls?
こんばんは。
Oh, that is definitely a new sprite there. I don't think we saw that in the first chapter. Even here, I think it's the way her eyebrows are drawn. She just looks like she's perpetually up to something. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
あら、シオンちゃん。
Oh, you know Shion?
珍しいわね、こっちへ来るなんて。
I think they did mention her name, but I just can't keep track of all that. I can barely keep track of the names of the people in my friend groups. Let alone fictional characters.
富田家のおじさまに高野さんじゃないですか。
Takano, that was her name. Takano.
こんばんは。ご無沙汰いたしております。
君が噂の転校生、前原圭一君だね。
That's me!
今日は張り切って仕事してたね。感心したよ。
Dude, I have to know what your workout routine is, because my gosh, you are swole AF. I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before. You have, just you don't remember it for some reason.
どこかでお会いしてますよね。
覚えててくれて嬉しいね。
That's right, she didn't introduce herself. She was just like, woman.
圭一君とは道で何度かすれ違ってるよ。
It's true, we just never talked to him this
僕は
time.
富武。東京から来てるフリーのカメラマンさ。
I hope he doesn't die this time.
じゃあ、私はわかるかしら？
Nope.
すみません、覚えがないです。
高野美代さんだよ。
Mio Takano.
ケイちゃんはまだ風邪とかで診療所のお世話にはなってない？
Oh, is she a doctor?
美代さんは診療所で
Oh, she's a
看護師さんをやってるんだよ。
Did we learn that in I don't remember her being a nurse in chapter 1. Then again, she was also in it for like 20 minutes to give exposition and then left. And then disappeared.
高野よ。よろしくね。治療に来るときは教えてね。太めの注射針を用意しておくから。
Okay, this girl is creepy.
そりゃご丁寧にどうも。
I really love giving injections. Why are people scared of me? Tomatake-san seemed to be quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place, and he took picture after picture.
話
Interesting.
には聞いていたけど、知らんせいソーセージってのは初めて見た
I
よ。
thought you guys were the same character!
本当にそっくりなんだな。
そっくりなのは外見だけじゃないんですよ。ほら。
Shion, come on! Don't be like that.
あ
Also, if you two live in separate places, how would you even know that? Things have never been as lively as when the two of them are together. Metal Gear Snake. Maybe. I still don't really know what to make of her, because maybe she just had a weird trolling thing in Chapter 1. I'd thought that they were exactly the same at first, but I've started to get a handle on which one is which. Mion is Mion, and Shion... Well, she seems a far better actor than Mion was. In the first place, somebody that could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to those lard buckets at Angel Mort. If that was the case, then that cowardly behavior from that day was all... It was all a complete act!
あの二人昔はもっとそっくりでね、ご両親でもどっちがどっちかわからなくて手を焼いていたそうよ。
I feel like you can pick it up eventually.
すごく想像に容易です。ご両親のご苦労がよくわかります。
Takano gave me a kind of odd look, but explaining would have been a pain, so I didn't bother.
富武のおじさまはまた綿流しの取材が終わったら東京にとんぼ帰りですか？
うん、本当はいつまでも滞在していたいんだけどね。しがない大人の都合ってやつさ。
He really likes the Hooters as well.
お写真
Nah,
は
he's classier than
早く
that.
素敵な賞を取るといいですね。お祈りしていますね。
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't remember that. I can't remember every name in this game. Which means I'll probably do a bad job at predicting where the story's gonna go.
ありがとう。今度来るときには今日撮った君たちの写真も持ってくるよ。
How about you get their consent before taking their photos? That's a little weird otherwise.
今日は前原くんもお疲れ様。
How do you know that? Were you watching me?
慣れない力仕事で疲れたでしょ。
まあ疲れたけど結構楽しかったです。
若さね、羨ましいわ。
Takano-san smiled with an adult elegance that no one in my circle of friends possessed. Well, that's also because you're friends with, I was gonna say some tomboys, but that's actually only true for Mion and, Satoko. But Rika's also, like, 12, and Rena is... Rena. The wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty. Well, she is a nurse, you gotta be smart for that. Hey! It's of her best boy, Uichi. It seemed like our merry crowd was standing out. This time, an overweight older man addressed us. Don't you remember? Oh, wait, no, we didn't meet him, I don't think. And once again, it was someone I thought I knew. Never mind, we talked to him for 2 seconds. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he?
あら、大石さん、こんばんは。明日の警備の下見ですか？
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for the reminder.
そんなところです。
That's true. He's like... Well, assuming that this is, like, the same as Chapter 1 in terms of the lore, that means he's like, someone's gonna die and disappear on this festival. We gotta make sure that don't happen.
おや、富武くんじゃないですか。ご無沙汰しておりますね。
僕の名前を覚えていてくださったとは。
I mean, it makes sense why you would prefer Tomotake to Uisi. Uisi's kind of old, a little pudgy, and, well, Tomotake, I mean, come on, look at how cut this guy is.
あなたもつくづくひなみ沢が好きですな。
It looks beautiful.
ここいらへんは東京よりもずっとアパートは安いですよ。
Well, that's probably not hard. Tokyo is kind of expensive to live in.
さあ、引っ越してくればいいのに。仲のいい不動産屋を紹介しますよ。
それは嬉しいですね。その説はぜひお世話になりたいです。
Oh, and this time he's actually full on like, yeah, I want to move here. But in the first chapter, he's like, nah, I love Tokyo,
では
man.
では皆さん、良いお年を。
I'll see you next year when people go
園
missing.
崎の双子さんも良いお年を。
良いお年を、大石刑事。
Uh-oh, Shion does... Shion, do you have a reason to not be very happy when the police are around? Are you Breaking Bad by any chance?
お仕事よろしくお願いしますね。
Because she was like that the first time he showed up as well. She was like, oh, hi. She's had a run-in with the cops before, hasn't she? Thank goodness Phoenix Wright was there to clear
今
her.
年は皆さんの手を煩わせない綿流しにしたいです。
Alright, Shion.
こりゃ手厳しい。
Right, it's a different timeline, but that's why I said the lore behind it. Because, like, we still had the dam construction, like in Chapter 1 as well. So it seems like all of that kind of was the same, but then we're doing different stuff here, and people are acting different. And also, Shion exists, and I'm pretty sure she did not exist in Chapter 1. Or she did very secretively. Detective Uisi left us with a low laugh and headed off back to talk to some police officers standing a ways away. I gave Mayun a glance and saw her making an annoyed face, as if she were glaring bullets at someone she hated. Man, are both of the twins, like, Breaking Bad? Is that why they hate the police? Because that was the same in Chapter 1. Mion was like, you were talking with Uishi? What? You know I hate him. It's like, I didn't know you hated him, actually.
そうね。
Takano seemed to be chill with the police. She's a winner.
私は警察のお世話にならない綿流しになるといいわね。
Maybe not. Are you Breaking Bad as well? Are you free in on this?
君も好きだね。
あら、二郎さんは嫌い？私、そういう夢のある話好きよ。
Are we gonna get the exact same lore dump this time again?
潤いのない時代だからこそ、そういうのに憧れるの。
お社様のたたり。
We are getting the same info dump. Curse. Tomotake-san used a troubling word. Then suddenly someone tugged on my arm.
ケイちゃん、私お腹空いちゃったからさ。
Hey, Kate-chan, let's go away from
高
this!
森のテントに行ってお菓子でも食べてこない？
そうだな。俺もちょっとお腹が減ったかな。
But I wanted to hear about the info dump. What a convenient way to make sure we don't have to get the same information twice. A moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomotake that stunned my ears and gave me a start.
今年は誰が死んで誰が消えるんでしょうね。
Alright, Shion. I don't trust you. I pulled back from Mion's grip and stopped abruptly.
シオン、今、なんて
That
言ったん
seemed
だ？
very vaguely threatening. It felt like the air around us dried out all of a sudden.
行こうよケイちゃん。つまんない話だよ。お姉はまだケイちゃんに話してないの？
I guess places are a little less fun when the police are around. More dangerous. I feel like it would be less dangerous, but I don't know.
私、そういう話は吹き込まない主義なの。
They're like, don't even let him hear this time. Shion's quiet and cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh voice were quite the contrast.
おいおいおいおい、何の話だよ。知ってるなら教えてくれよ。俺だけのけ者なんて、なんだか気分悪い。
Don't worry about it. I don't understand this. Someone explain it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. Each chapter might have the same info dump, so it's a pretty good thing that you're only going for each chapter 1 year at a time. Okay, maybe. She squeezed my hand in hers a bit, but then she realized I would hold my ground on this topic, so she let go.
じゃあさ、私先に酒盛りの
Mion's like, I'm gonna need some alcohol.
早く来ないとケイちゃんの分なくなっちゃうからね。
なあ、分かってるって。すぐ行くから。
Mion left, trotting towards a particularly noisy tent on the other side of the shrine grounds. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. I showed no signs of going after her, though, so she ran off.
もしも聞いてないんだったら話
Never mind, we're getting the info dump again. Straps your bones right to the sea.
ひょっとすると
Come on in
聞
and
かな
don't
い
be
で
shy.
彼女と一緒にお菓子を食べに行った方が賢明かもしれないよ。
He's like, I saw what happened in chapter 1. I don't want it to happen again. Hey now, you've already gotten my full attention here. I am not going to leave without asking at this point.
ケイちゃんにも聞く権利があると思います。
Okay,
お姉は
Shion.
その権利を奪ってただけです。
Shion's voice was bristling with thorns, as if she somehow blamed Mion.
一体、何の話だって言うんですか？あんまりもったいぶられると不愉快ですよ。
Takano-san, realizing how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming that there were no objections, she opened her mouth.
前原君はタタリを信じるかしら？
Yes and no.
たたりですか？面白いとは思いますけど、あんまり信じては。
This is a really important plot point, so you gotta hear it every chapter. I felt their cynical stares and winced. It was like they were telling me that it was stranger not to believe in curses.
ケイちゃんは間違ってないですよ。 たたりなんて迷信もいいとこ。信じなくて当たり前です。
そうね。それにたたりを信じるかどうかは話を最後まで聞いてから
This might change your
考えればいいことなんだから。
Everyone dies, said Takano-san, giving us a little smile. They're trying to scare me. At least that's what it feels like.
じゃあ
Why are there sprites
少
flickering
し
before
僕
they
が話そう
disappear?
か。ケイイチ君はひなみ沢ダム計画を知ってるかい？
Yeah. Oh yeah, the other day at Hooters, Shion, or Mion rather, told me all about it.
確かひなみ沢が丸ごと水没する巨大なダムの計画が発表されたって言うんですよね。
その通り。それに反対するために住民運動が結成され、国と激しい戦いを。
Satan wanted to flood Hinamizawa to kill everybody. That didn't happen, and he's like, I'm still gonna kill people, and then that's how it happens. I've heard that too. The entire village united, using all the power at their disposal. Mass media, political influence, assassination, other things, and they fought for the country. The way Mion described it made it sound like a boast.
あれ？ずいぶん詳しいじゃないか。そう、その通りさ。わずか1000人ちょいの村人たちが中心になって結束して、国の施策を跳ね返したという、ちょっとした武勇伝なんだ。
It's amazing what the power of numbers can do.
その辺はお姉に聞かされてませんか？この辺りの武勇伝はお姉も好きですからね。
ああ、話してたよ。
そのひなみ沢の人たちが結束して旗揚げした反対同盟の事務所があったのがね、この神社なんだよ。
ほら、あの集会所がその名残よ。解散後は老人会のサークル活動にしか使われてないけど、当時はまさに最後の砦だったの。
Takano-san explained this, pointing a finger towards the assembly hall. I had been carrying things in and out of there all day. I would understand if they put an office like that in the mayor's house or something. But having an office on the shrine grounds made it feel kind of like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors. I don't know what that
そんな
is.
心境だったんだろうね。彼らはひなみ沢の守り神様であるお社様を祀る神社に本陣を置くことで必勝を祈願したんだよ。
Oyashiro-sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse before. Is it the same Oyashiro-sama? How many of them do you know? Was it my best friend,
ケイイチ君は
Oyashiro-sama?
お社様は知ってるかい？
That's just a fancy name for
この
Satan.
神社の祀る神様の名前だよ。
Lowercase g,
ひ
not
なみ沢
interested.
を守ってると伝えられてる。
いや、よくは知らないです。
そうか。じゃあここから先は高野さんの方が詳しいかな。
She's really into this story.
平たく言えばそのままよ。お社様はこのひな
We're
み
getting the
沢
happier
に伝わる
music now.
古い神様で、神聖なこの地が属性に汚されることがないよう守り続けてきたと伝えられてるわ。
So essentially, he's a basic standard guardian deity. I guess you could find that sort of god anywhere you go.
お社様崇拝は一種の先民思想の表れではないかと研究されているわね。先民思想って言葉わかるかしら？
Huh. Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you are part of a superior race, or that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. They believe that they're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards other clans. I won't go into too much detail, but it's sort of national and religious ideas that lead to war. Of course, that goes for Japan too.
大昔のひなみ沢の人たちは自分たちは人間とは異なる格の違う存在
This is definitely sounding like a cult.
下界との交流を汚れとして意味嫌ったそうなの。だから村に下界の人間が来ると汚れてお社様の罰が当たると強く信じ、何も
Yeah, I wonder why.
なかったそうよ。
よそ者を嫌う村ってよく推理小説に出てくるだろ。典型的なそういう村だったらしいんだよ。
一応名誉のために断りますけど、大昔のことですからね。
Well, it was a different time back in the day. People were, as hard as it is to believe, people were a lot more tribalistic back in the day than they are now.
今は違います。
Although tribalism is definitely making a return. Shion followed up quickly, having sensed the thorns in Tomotage-san's words. Tomotage-san, embarrassed at what he said, scratched at his head. So this shrine worships Oyashiro-sama, thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground, and it's a symbol of their traditional hatred of the outside world.
なるほど。だから下界からやってきた汚れたダム計画に立ち向かうためにひなみ沢の守り神様の神社に本陣を置いたと。
Correct. Smiled Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid people.
円担ぎも万端。
Dad, I feel that.
村人たちは視力を尽くしてダム計画に立ち向かうんだ。その最中なんだよ。事実上あの事件でとどめが入ったと言ってもいい。
Oyashiro-sama's curse.
南沢ダムの建設現場の監督がですね、4年前かな。結構派手に新聞に載ったんですけど、覚えてません？
ちょっと知らないな。
部下と喧嘩してツルハシでめった打ちにされて、両手両足首をもいで捨てられたんだそうです。
That's how you do it. You cut the body up into pieces, you put it in a trash bag with a bunch of rocks, and you drop it in the sea. No one will ever find it.
バラバラ殺人
I mean, I don't know that.
一頃流行ったろ。
They were all the rage back then. Such a gruesome incident. But it was just that. An incident. A person caused the incident, after all. Should they really put it down to the curse?
その翌年にはね、ひなみ沢の住人でありながらダム推進派のグループを結成していた男がね、旅行先で崖から落ちて死んじゃったの。これは事故だそうよ。
Convenient.
何しろひなみ沢中から敵視されていたからね。警察もかなり念入りに他殺の線を洗ったんだけど、結局事故と断定したみたいだよ。
Now it's an accident. This is the most curse-like one, but it's still far-fetched.
さらに翌年、今度はね、この神社の神主さんが原因不明の病で倒れて急死しちゃった。
Because I know we went over this last time. I forget why they thought the priest would have been a target of the curse, because wouldn't he have been like the head honcho defending Oyashiro-sama?
前の神主さんは、こう言っちゃ失礼ですけど、ちょっと日和見な人だったんですよね。村中が反ダムで盛り上がってるのに、神主さんは放っておけみたいな感じで。
Yeah, non-confrontational is what we call that.
抵抗運動の象徴である神社の神主さんがそんな感じなんだ
So
けどね。
that's why they're like, you need to take decisive action. He's like, come on, man. I just want to live.
リーダーシップを期待していた当時の村人たちは失望し、中には怒りを抱く人たちもいたそうよ。だから当時、年寄り連中はみんな言ったんです。これはお社様のたたりだってね。
It did seem like every year, dam-related people the village had resentment towards were dying. It was pretty creepy.
しかもね、面白いことにこれらの事件や事故は毎年必ず
Oh, guys, I don't think I can make it to the Watanagashi Festival. I actually promised I was going to go to the local cider mill with my grandpa. I love that the music cut out after I made that really stupid excuse.
ね、ちょっとたたりっぽくなってきたでしょ。
Takano's like, I love curses! This is the
さら
best!
に翌年、つまり去年だね。今度は事故死したダム推進派のリーダー格の男の弟夫婦の奥さんが撲殺死体で発見されちゃったんだ。
Uh-oh.
もちろん犯人は捕まったけどね。
ね、やっぱりたたりっぽいでしょ。
4 years in a row. Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace. But every single one of them happening on the night of the festival worshipping Oyashiro-sama, that's not normal. Yeah, there's something off with Takano.
この数年の事件ですっかりお社様のたたりを盲信しちゃって、若い人たちだって最初はバカにしてましたけど、今は誰も茶化しませんね。
There's also something off with Shion. Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Even me, even if I didn't think it was a curse at all, thinking about all the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real?
例えば今日のお祭り準備にしてもそうさ。ダムとの戦いで荒れていたとはいえ、何年か前までは綿流しはそんなに盛況していたわけじゃないんだよ。
まあそうですね。お社様のたたりの話がなかったら こんなにお祭りには集まりませんね。
Guys, if you come to the festival, you super promise won't be the one who dies in the incident. Oh my gosh, we have to go to a Tanagashi!
不信心者には罰が当たるかもしれない。だからお社様のお祭りには必ず出ようって言ってる人たち。
Well, it's true. Infidels will be punished, but wait. Well, anyways, about the festival. Shio nodded as if she were mocking herself.
どうかな。圭一君もひょっとしてたたりは本当にあるのでは。
Nah! Coincidence! Takano would be the true crimes girl on YouTube that do make... I could see that. I mean, you can't just laugh off people related to the dam construction project all dying like that. I could also see Takano being one of those TikTok nurses. Even if I feel like this now, then the more superstitious members of the village must feel stronger than that.
まあそれでもたたりなんかないと思ってます。
I bet there's a person who's like, I'm gonna make it look like a curse. This is Ace Attorney all over. Get Phoenix right on the case. He'll figure it out in like 2 days.
ですけど信じる人たちの気持ちもわかるつもりです。
さすがケイちゃんは冷静に判断できてますね。
Shion grinned, realizing I'd rejected the curse.
たたりでもなく偶然のはずもないなら
Takano's like, are you
こ
sure?
れらの事件はどういうことになるのかしらね。
Hassan said, smiling playfully, as if posing a riddle. Neither a curse nor a coincidence. Well, it's definitely not a coincidence. But every year someone dies. What should we make of that then? There's a mastermind. Toмотake-san, catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it, opened his mouth and came to my aid.
高野さんはね、人間の仕業かもしれないって言ってるんだよ。
Simple process of elimination would have gotten me there. I was a little taken aback at not having realized the answer immediately.
だってそうでしょ。
Oh, are we about to be super paranoid again?
たたりでもなく偶然でもないなら人の意志が働いてるとしか考えられない。
Yeah, that's what makes sense. Takano-san pressed on. I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I was just a few minutes ago thinking the very concept of a curse was absolutely absurd. When she suggested it was someone's doing, I ended up thinking, there wasn't any way it could be a person. But Takano-san was right. It was either a curse or it was a person's doing. If unrealistic things like curses didn't exist, then the obvious next step would be to start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion.
人間が犯人なら確かにひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なんでしょうね。
I'm not from Hinamizawa, so I'm innocent. Date
現
me.
に警察の大石さんはそう見てますから。
おいおい、そんなわけあるのかよ。
I thought I now knew the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. If Oyashiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. It would be divine judgment for the dam project business. However, if Oyashiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which it obviously didn't, then the culprit would most likely be someone from Hinamizawa. The villagers had worked desperately to oppose the dam construction project. I knew that they had used all sorts of methods to fight against it. If one of those methods was... maybe...
お社様のたたりはダム計画抵抗運動の暗部じゃないかって
I
ささ
like
やかれて
the
るんです。
cicadas sounds in the background. Adds to the atmosphere. Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course, I didn't expect it. She was from Hinamizawa, so I didn't think she'd come out and say it herself. Oh, well, I guess she's from there. She just lives in Okinomiya.
ちょっと落ち着いて考えれば誰が見たってひなみ沢の誰かの仕業だってわかることです。ダム工事に反対して得をする人以外動機がないじゃないですか。
それはそうだけど。
Admitting to the existence of a darker side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. So I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint.
それにね、警察の人は知らない
I knew you were Breaking Bad!
ひなみ沢の人間にはわかるひなみ沢の人間の犯行だという証拠があるんです。
Now this is new. We didn't hear about this in Chapter 1. Shion rebukes me to keep my voice down.
ごめん。でもその証拠って一体。
必ず一人が死んでもう一人が消えるからです。
That's just a coincidence. Or more part of the plot. One more person disappears. Did that mean that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice?
消えるって意味が。
Okay, never mind. We did hear
よくわからないな。
we did hear about this.
それは失踪するって意味か。
そうです。忽然と跡形もなく。
You know what? Just in case we want to use that as a thumbnail, we'll do that. As she spoke, Shion pretended to do a trick with her hands like she was making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death, and one disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. But then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit?
実はね、ひなみ沢の古い伝統の一つにね、お社様の怒りを鎮めるために生贄を捧げた。
This is absolutely some Satanism stuff.
生贄？
ええ。すまきにされて底なし沼に生きたままじわじわと時間をかけて沈めたんです。
That is disgusting. Takano-san, as though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so. This lady is super weird and creepy.
文献を調べた限りでは3日3晩をかけて本当にゆっくりとじわじわと沈めたそうよ。
Why are you saying that with a happy smile? Like, I love talking about old torture methods.
ほら、昔の人って結構ダジャレが好きでしょ。沈めるをかけてたんだと思うの。だから時間をかけて沈めるという意味があったんでしょうね。
Why are you laughing about this? You are absolutely creepy. Takano-san was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? No, she's not. She's just not right. That girl ain't right, I'll tell you. Shion didn't move to deny it. But I felt the difference in temperature between her cool expression and Takano-san's.
この辺の話はまあ聞いて想像がつくと思いますけど、ひなみ沢の秘士です。ひなみ沢に昔からいる人なら誰でも知ってますが、それを口に出すことはありませんね。
高野さんはひなみ沢出身じゃないけどね。彼女は郷土史とか民間伝承とかが好きでね。
She's getting a little too into this, I gotta say.
全部独学で調べたんだよ。
Takano's the girl who goes to the Renaissance Festival, like, in full regalia and talks in old A English.
そんなにかっこいいものじゃないのよ。単なる知的好奇心。
Okay, I believe you.
子供と同じよ。ただの怖いもの見たさ程度なんだから。
See, that might just be played off as harmless fun if it weren't for the very eerie music in the background. Tomotage-san laughed, a little bit embarrassed.
ちょっと待ってください。ってことは何ですか？事件のたびに消えるという一人は生贄に捧げられているって言うんですか？
Yeah. Shion answers in one word before anyone else can speak. Someone dies, then someone disappears.
本当に生贄にされてるかどうかは別にして。
Wasn't cotton drifting? Uh-huh.
過去の事件では必ず一人が死ぬ他に一人が消えてるんだよ。例えば一番最初のダム現場の監督が殺された事件も複数犯のうちの最後の一人が未だ逮捕されてないらしいんだ。
それは単にうまく逃げおおせてるだけなんじゃないんですか？別に生贄にされたというのとは違うのでは。
まあ僕もそうだとは思うんだけどね。で次の年のダム推進派のリーダー格の男なんだけど、
確か旅行先で崖から落ちて亡くなったんですよね。
落ちたのは奥さんも一緒らしいの。警察は懸命に捜索したんだけど、どうしても奥さんの遺体だけ見つけられないんですって。崖下の川は増水してたそうだからね。どこか川下の湖の湖底で土砂にでも埋まってしまったのかもしれないけどね。
Yeah, all of this we've heard before. The perpetrator of a dismemberment like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd be desperate to run away and hide too. I thought I'd heard about cases where the corpse wouldn't surface after the person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still didn't see the connection to sacrifices. If you took each of the past incidents in turn, none of the disappearances evoked that terrifying of an image.
その翌年の神主の病死の時ははっきりしてます。
Mion's like, Keiichi, are you coming to the tent or not? Come on now.
奥さんが遺書を残したんです。
You're still talking about this? You said you'd hurry.
死んでお社様のお怒りを鎮めに参りますってな感じのが神主さんが亡くなった晩に自宅に残されてたそうですから。
But the butts? The curse. It seemed to turn up in this one, though.
まあ真相は闇の中なんだけどね。その奥さんが受水自殺した沼はさっき高野さんも話した例のでっかい底なし沼ってことになっててね。
This is really gonna put a damper on the festival for us.
警察も沼を調べたそうだけど遺品がいくつか見つかっただけで遺体は発見できなかった。警察は偽装自殺を疑って今でも探してるらしいよ。
Someone dies every year, and in the same way, someone goes missing every year. Yes, we've established this! Is she trying to tell me that everyone who vanished was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp, still alive and drowned to death? But a curse? That's unbelievable in its own right.
その翌年にはなんだっけ、ダム推進派の男の弟夫婦の奥さんだっけが殺されたんだよな。
So, at that time, someone else vanished?
消えました。北条聡君っていう私と同い年の男の子です。
Satoshi.
殺された主婦の義理の甥にあたります。
Shion cut in with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who had disappeared pretty well. At least that's the vibe I was getting.
ま
Well,
納得
well,
いかない
Satoshi was part of the original gaming club, so he knew Rena and Mion. So I was gonna say by extension he would know Shion, but apparently you could be in the gaming club and never know Shion's existence. So no, they probably meant for that.
必ず一人が死んで必ず一人が忽然と消える。
Thank you for telling me that for like the 20th time. Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact that each incident involved one person disappearing.
一人目が死ぬのはお社様のたたりで。
God, how many times are you going to say this?
生贄に捧げてるからだって。
I know I've heard this 20 times, but I just gotta confirm it again.
ケイちゃん、たたりなんかないです。誰かがお社様のたたりという名で一人目を殺し、誰かが
That
その
someone
生贄と
is
して
me.
二人目をさらってるんです。
でもシオン、それじゃあ村の中に犯人がいるってことになるんだぞ。
Maybe someone lives in like Philadelphia and it's just like, I have a great idea. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to this remote Japanese village and do random stuff. It could be.
私は初めからそう睨んでます。結構ショックですよ。この昭和の時代にそんな古い飲酒で人殺しが堂々と行われるなんて。
It didn't have anything to do with our discussion, but I got the feeling that maybe Shio didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Who wants to live in a town with a murderer? Slash kidnapper, slash evidence hider. Mion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales. So she had avoided talking about Oyashiro-sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light, no matter how you looked at it. She was trying not to give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of a curse to purge Hinamizawa out of this bad impression, but rather, she strongly believed that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her convictions seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. Once upon a time, they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other. But talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality than Mion.
じゃあ皆さんはひなみ沢の誰かが犯人だと思ってるんですね。
Man, we're saying very little in a lot of words. Neither Shion nor Takano-san answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to be said.
じゃあ重ねて質問します。ひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なら犯人は誰なんですか？
It's Rika! Nipa! Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I had hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I was asked was to argue that their explanation that the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a pained smile at my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak.
私が言ったのは所詮状況証拠ですからね。具体的に犯人の名前を知ってたなら警察に突き出してます。
As would anybody. Then what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly as Shion had and opened her mouth.
ね、初めに誤解を解いておきたいんだけど、別に私は探偵さんのつもりはないのよ。本音を言うとね、犯人が誰かが
I just really like it when people die. I say they keep it up.
高野さんも困った人だな。
I know who it is, but I pinky promised them I wouldn't tell. Tomotage-san gives a bitter laugh at her own surprising opinion on the matter.
私はね、古式ゆかしい残酷な風習やおとぎ話に興味があるだけ。
Is she weird?
知的好奇心で面白がってるだけなの。だから一連の事件も犯人は誰かってことよりも事件の存在自体が古い因習がまだ根深く残ってることの証拠だって思って面白がってるくらい。
Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Yeah, she's creepy. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful awe of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend.
ま、
She's
私は
also
全然
creepy,
面
but for a
白く
different
ないです
reason.
けどね。明日はいよいよ綿流しのお祭りですけど、誰にも死んでほしく
It
ない
settles it.
し。
Shion, you and I can have a date at Red Robin.
明日か。
That's right. It had completely slipped my mind. The string of murder incidents that people attributed to Oyashiro-sama's curse. It wasn't over. You're so right, DX. That's exactly the vibe I'm getting from her. She seems the kind... Maybe this sounds rude. Takano seems like the kind of girl who's like... I mean, you know, Ted Bundy, he was kind of hot, though.
明日は一体
Look at that smile! And with the words. Come on! You're making this too... You're making this too obvious that she's behind some of this stuff. Like, come on, look at that! I just wonder who will die tomorrow. Takano-san said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movement. She's even combing her hair while doing it? That's like practically a murder confession. With a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. Then out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party. Oh, I thought they were like, wow, you told the story so well. Right. I was making Mion wait this whole time, wasn't I? Yeah, you totally were. I should go back to her soon.
高野さんもからかいすぎだよ。
I don't know if she's teasing. I think she's just crazy.
圭一君がすっかり真に受けてしまったじゃないか。
You're dating her, right, Tomotake? You should probably find someone else. You absolutely could have pretty much any girl you want with that cut.
ごめんなさいね。また悪い癖が出ちゃったみたい。
I mean, she's not bad looking, but she's a little creepy. She said that sticking out her tongue bashfully. Nobody does that in real life. The strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found.
高野さんはね、純粋そうな子を見るとからかいたくなる悪い癖があるんだよ。
Wow, she hates
圭
kids.
一君が真剣に聞いてくれるもんだから、ついつい調子に乗っちゃったみたいなんだ。
Now you're making excuses for her, bro. Unlike Takano-san, Tomotake-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. Yeah, that's why he's best boy. Yes. Yes. Don't stick it in the crazy. Absolutely. Very sound advice. They were apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me. Maybe,
高野さんが今した話
to
は
be fair,
あ
they
くまで
might
もフィク
just
ショ
be
ンだか
having
ら
a
ね
chaste relationship with each other for now.
もしもさっきの話で圭一君がひなみ沢に持
How
ってた
could
印
it
象を
not?
傷つけられ
You
てしま
just
ったのは
spent 40 minutes telling me how someone in this village is probably committing mass murder.
もう二郎さんたら。
高野さんも謝った方がいい。怖がらせてしまってごめんなさいってね。
Takano-san and Tomotage-san were arguing and messing around now. The strained air around us had already dissipated.
ケイちゃんもそろそろ戻った方がいい
Excuse
で
me,
す。
I still need to go and eat some
お
desserts.
姉は嫉妬深いですからね。私は顔を合わせると喧嘩になりそうだからこのまま帰ることにします。
Okay.
そうなのか？じゃあ俺はミオンのとこに戻って待たせたことを謝るかな。
迷惑をかけたね、圭一君。みおんちゃんに圭一君を長く借りすぎて申し訳ないと伝えてくれないかな。
あ、はい。伝えても機嫌は直さないと思いますけど、一応。
She's gonna have the reptile eyes when we come see her, isn't she? Tomotake-san and Takano-san, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。明日のお祭りどこかですれ違えるといいですね。
Oh, you're okay.
会えるよ。どうせ俺たちのことだ。賑やかにやってるに決まってる。
Shion and I said our goodbyes to Tomatake and Takano. Before we could leave, Takano called out to us.
私の話を真剣に聞いてくれてありがとうね。前原くんがあまりに聞き上手だったんで、話しててとても
I love
楽しか
acting
ったよ。
creepy like that in front of other people.
聞き上手なんてそんな。
No, you were. You listened and you asked good questions. And bad questions by being like, wait, so this is happening? It's, we told you this 20 times now. I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all of the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another.
今日した話、面白
It was my favorite. I can't wait to read it as a bedtime story.
まあ興味深かったです。
なら、また今度も聞いてくれる？南沢の昔話とかおとぎ話にも
I'm
興味
wondering,
深いものがたくさんあるの。
the real thing that's gonna make a difference is, will these two, will Takano and Tomitake still be the victims at this festival, or will it be someone else? That would be cool if it was someone else.
もちろん、薄気味悪いのがたくさんね。
Takano's the type to binge watch all of the Chucky movies every Halloween.
私特選のをたくさん披露するわよ。
Okay, creepy lady, will you just leave? I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch at my head. This is not the kind of woman that I would want giving me, shots.
高野さんがからかっているだけさ。
They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomitake call out from behind him in a clear voice that we would see each other again at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent Mion was waiting for me in, she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long. Maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard that she went home, talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But my regret for having made Mion wait. It wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san and Shion's uncanny story left on me. Can we stop by and meet her grandma? I still want to meet her grandma. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row. Yes, I know that! Would tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying all of this out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice, entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. I regretted it a little, though it was too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, then I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. No, it's transitioning to the end of the day, so we won't get to meet Grandma. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. New tips unlocked. Scrap note 1, 2, 3, and the festival's around the corner. And we get a little elbow grease for helping setting up the festival. Okay, we got a lot of tips to go through, but probably the scrapbook ones will be really quick. Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the ancient Onigafuchi village, the anger of Oyashiro-sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens, and what sort of a divine judgment, curse, befalls on them when Oyashiro-sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine that they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. Not true, but I get what you're saying. The conditions for inciting Oyashiro-sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in Onigafuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oyashiro-sama was termed angry. And in order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. Okay, yeah, I knew that one was going to be short. It's probably just brief notes that, like, Uichi or something. Uichi? Uisi has noted about it. From the scrapbook 2. The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning, involving plunging sacrifices into the Onigafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the rituals of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of this sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Oyashiro-sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, those methods were not recorded. The scrapbook while the Bee Gees a newspaper. Hey, they didn't have a whole lot of assets. My thoughts are that they must have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifices up with ropes, and then let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. That is a horrible way to go, by the way. Slowly drowning in a swamp. That would be horrible. I would still take it over some other ways of dying, though. Number 3. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized in ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements, or ritual implements, and even now some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the Free Families. Uh-oh, does Riku's family have something to do with this? However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onigafuchi village. As the Edo era came and closed and many traditional rituals were they lost as well? Or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the feast of the Onikakushi and those used in the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt, they exist here today, at this very moment, in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain where they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. He may be able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Hinamizawa is coming soon. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Ooh. Someone's gonna be checking that out and trying to find evidence. It's gotta be Uisi and his detectives, right? That would be pretty cool. And festival is around the corner. I don't know who that is. It could be Takano. I always thought it was Uisi writing about this. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Oi, oi. 今日のうちからへばっててどうすんだよ。本番は明日だぞ。明日は最後の最後。バッチリ深夜まで燃え上がっていくんだからな。よっせ。気合い入れてきますぜ。よし。若さが一番だ。みんなお疲れさん。渡流はいよいよ明日だからな。
It would not surprise me if that was Takano's notebook.
今夜は早めに眠って体力を蓄えておいてくれよ。
Tomorrow was finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into two groups, those who enjoy them and those that support them. The former only need to prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without a care in the world, will be strained the whole way through. Why?
そりゃ決まってるだろう。全部終わった後のビールがうまいからだよ。
They have one joke, and it's the funniest. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way. Uisi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up.
はいはい、皆さんお疲れ様ですね。そのままで結構ですよ。
お疲れ様です。
Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Uisi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Karado Uisi. A detective just waiting to retire, one who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations, and doesn't do too much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him.
皆さん、明日の綿流しの準備、本当にお疲れさんです。
Everyone present stands upright and lends their ear to the chief's directions.
昨年発生したように、連続事件を期待する愉快犯の出現が濃厚に危惧されます。各員、一層気を引き締め、犯罪の抑止のために任務を全うしてください。何も起こらなければ一番いいんですがね。 ですが皆さん、必ず事件は起こると考えてくださいよ。抑止が一番ですが、まあ多分無理でしょう。今年も誰かが死んで誰かが消えます。もう間違いなく。
Lovely. He's like, oh, I love that. Everyone apart from the section chief smiled painfully.
おいさん、そんなんじゃ困るよ。もっと真剣にやってくれなきゃ。
肝心なのは祭りの夜を越すことじゃないんです。明日の夜起こった何かに迅速かつ徹底的にどこまでも食いついていくこと。気合い入れてくよ。兜の尾を引き締めてき。お社様のたたりの化けの皮を完璧にひっぺかしてやるぞ。
They seem like a cool group of detectives to work with. If you like beer. You gotta like beer to work there. Alrighty, that was a lot of tips.
本当に伝えたいのは違う言葉だった。本当に感じたいのは違う心だった。すれ違いが溝を生み、ためらいの気持ちが人を恐怖へと沈ませる。もう誰も止められない。冷たい感情がむき出しの心を深く残酷にえぐってゆく。綿流し。なぜあの時とつぶやく後悔の言葉。それはもはや虚しい響きだった。
I did not recognize that voice. That seemed to be a new actress. That was interesting.
ケイチくんだ。おはようなんだよ。
Rena was ecstatically waving her arms at me, already brimming with energy.
おはようって、もう夕方だぜ。
Well, we slept until the evening.
こんにちは、だろ。
でも、今日ケイチくんにする最初の挨拶だから、やっぱりおはようがいいな。
わかった。じゃあ、おはようでいい。おはよう、レナ。
I grabbed Rena's head and rubbed it with my hand. Yeah, when's the lizard eyes coming out? She squirmed, reveling in the motion like a cat. That's a little weird. Oh, I guess Mion doesn't have the lizard eyes.
昨日は申し訳なかったね。黙って帰っちゃってさ。
I thought for sure it would be like, I can't believe you listened to that again.
ああ、それを言うなら
Actually,
俺
we'll
の
give
方
it
が悪
time.
かった。ミオンをずっと待たせっぱなしでごめんな。
昨日のお祭りの準備のことかな。どうだったケイチくん。しっかりとお仕事してた？
Oh, the beer was the best part. What? The slight muscle pain throughout my body and my sluggish movements were already obvious.
頑張ってたよ。へばってたけどね。
I grinned dryly and the three of us break out into laughter.
サトコとリカちゃんは祭り会場で合流か？
リカちゃんはほら、大切なお勤めがあるから昨日からずっと。
Are we still gonna do the shooting arcade like we did first time? I hope we do something different. We gotta spice it up.
そのお供だそうだから、もう二人とも神社にいるよ。
Right, I just remembered. Today was Rika's big performance. She'd been practicing especially hard for this day. As her friend, I needed to make sure I went and cheered her on.
よっしゃ、早速行こうぜ。
Keiichi seems like he'd be like, if you were friends with him, he'd have your back. At night. That was a cool transition, actually. The transition from sunset to night. Man, how long is this walk? As we got closer to the shrine, we started passing by more people and seeing a lot of parked cars. It began to get noisier, too. I thought I could hear something like a Bond dance song. Without being able to restrain my impatience, I dashed up the entire flight of stone stairs.
ケイチくん早いよ。待って。たくケイちゃん、お子様なんだからな。
This is his first time at the second time at the Watanagashi Festival. He wants to have a better time than the first time. Whoa! The shrine grounds, they were packed with people! Look at them all. It was a festival if I ever saw one.
わあ、今年も立派だね。すごいね、すごいね。南沢中から出てきてるんだろうな。ありゃ、君吉分家の寝たきりじいさんまで来てるじゃない。あのじいさん、去年の綿流し以降ずっと布団の中で過ごしてたんじゃないかな。
This is their Christmas. They don't have real Christmas in Japan, so this is the closest they get. Yeah, there were a lot of villagers here that I didn't really know. They must have all been pouring in just for today. Why did the music reset when she appeared?
よう、さとこ。今日はすごい人手だよな。はぐれて迷子になるなよ。
誰が迷子になるんですの？
Satoko's too seems somehow energetic. Of course, I'm the same way.
あれ？リカちゃんは？まだ自由時間でしょ？
She's desperately hunting for that last secret power nut.
リカは村長さんたちと挨拶してましたですわ。すぐに来るでございますわよ。
She's already a proper girl. I see. Rika is the shrine maiden for today's festival, after all. It's probably a pain for her to say hello to all of the elders.
実に大変なのですよ。
Did I say that out loud? Or was that a thought? That was our thought. Rika, you are telepathic.
こんにちはなのです。
Calm yourself, Rena.
お持ち帰り。
Rika wore an immaculate shrine maiden outfit that looked fresh off the shelves. It was a perfect fit for her somehow mystical appearance.
どう？丈とか長すぎない？バッチャからもしも袖がかかるようならって安全ピンを預けてるんだけど。大丈夫なのです。実に快適なのですよ。
As she spoke, she began to do some twists and stretches.
いいね、いいよね、これかいいよね。
There was approximately one person here getting a nosebleed from watching Rika move. That's not how nosebleeds work!
ケイチ君は可愛いと思わないかな。
Yeah, I think best Rika is the Rika in the shrine maiden outfit.
レナノになっちゃうからお持ち帰り。
すごく可愛いと思うぞ。
I like
か
the
なり
modesty.
数。不敬のふりをして写真を撮りまくりたいくらいだ。
Okay, bro, let's not be creepy now.
2点から撮影して立体視できるようにすれば、立体の生リカちゃんが自宅でいつでももとい眺め放題。
And there's the creepy.
いいね、いいね、いいね。
Rena's eyes and mine glittered with stars as our nose was blood and we drooled. That is not how nosebleeds work!
リカ、あいつらに近寄ると大
I
変
can't believe I'm agreeing with Satoko here.
地下室とかに閉じ込められるかもしれないので。
Why are you saying that with a smile on your face, Rika?
その割にはリカちゃん楽しそうだけど。ミーがひどいことを言うのですよ。
I love it when people make me the center of attention. We all laugh together again.
じゃ、もたもたしないで祭りを回るかね。リカちゃんの出番までそう時間がないでしょ。
そうだな。よっしゃ、行こうぜみんな。
よー、園崎のお嬢ちゃんじゃねえの。食ってきな。
The only daughter, because there definitely are two of them.
豚肉たっぷりの焼きそばだぜよ。
I'm game.
今年はイカリングまで入ってるボリューム派よ。
Oh, I'm less game.
ヘイ親父、今年の焼きそばもなかなか力作じゃないの。イカまで入れるとは今年は奮発してるね。へえ、美味しいね、美味しいね。
ああ、イカってのは食ってもうまいが、それ以上に匂いが香ばしいんだよな。
I want the cake pops.
軟弱になりがちな歯ごたえも実に見事に補ってる。イカと豚肉のボリューム感は実に素晴らしい。悪くない出来だ。
へえ、ケイちゃんって何気に料理番組の司会とかに向いてるね。
I've watched enough Food Network that I could probably do that.
ケイチくんが美味しそうに食べてるとなんだかいつもよりもずっと美味しそうに感じるもんね。
俺はうまいものはうまいっていう主義なんだよ。だから俺がうまいっていうものはとりあえず試してみる価値があると思うぞ。
ではケイチ、この焼きそばの評価を改めてどうぞなのですよ。
Speak into the microphone, please.
一言で言うとだ、うまい。胃袋がもう一つあるんなら迷わずもう一つ買ってるな。
You gotta try some of all the food, though. Having heard my 3-star rating, a whole line of people suddenly formed in front of the yakisoba stand.
ほ 姉ちゃんがあんまりにも美味しそうに言うもんだから。
Word of mouth, it's a powerful thing.
やるね。
It was nothing to brag about, but I still decided to stick out my chest and put on airs.
あら、そうなんですの？では、私も挑戦してみましたよ。おじさん、たこ焼き一つくださいますこと？
Satoko bought a stick of takoyaki, balls of fried octopus, from the adjacent stand, and after blowing on it, put one of them in her mouth.
どうかな、さとこちゃん。
Yeah, I'm not eating octopus.
美味しい評価が出るなら、メナも買うよ。
Chomp chomp, choo choo, gulp.
さあ、料理評論家の北条さとこ審査員のご感想をどうぞ。
Uh-oh, not impressed. Though she was all for it a moment ago, Satoko hesitated to give her thoughts. Hey now, what's the matter? Everyone else takes one of their own and puts it in their mouths.
あれれ？レナのは外れだね。
What a chip!
僕のも外れです。
Uh-oh.
タコさんが入ってないのです。
This takoyaki vendor. Could this be some sort of festival-only octopus-free takoyaki stand? An evil takoyaki stand that skimped on the octopus because they figured out it would make them good money today.
あ、私のには入ってたわ。うん。タコが入ってる分には十分うまいよ。
このタコなしたこ焼きをどう美味しそうに解説すればいいんですの？
Everyone wondered about that. Our quizzical look seems to be drawing equally dubious stares from the people in line.
こんなのはどうかな。たこ焼きなのにタコが入ってないからとってもヘルシー。
Isn't that literally just fried dough?
タコの嫌いな人でも食べられる美味しいたこ焼き。
Or fried rice. After hearing that, several surprised guests left the line. It had the exact opposite effect. You just said that there was no octopus in it.
じゃあ次は私が挑戦するよ。
I'm with you, DX. Mayonnaise kinda sucks. If you do something fancy with it, like, oh, it's Chipotle mayonnaise, where you, like, mix it with other stuff, it can be good. Just mayonnaise by itself, though, blech, no thank you.
小麦粉やネギ、紅生姜の味などの素朴さをしっとりと味わわせてくれる自信作。タコが入ってない分だけ素材の味が程よく。
It wasn't half bad, but after hearing the "there's no octopus in it" clause, even more people left the line.
リカちゃんは何かいいコメントはあるか？
Rika's just like, this sucks.
率直でいいぞ。
これで400円は高いのです。
400 yen for something that's not even as advertised. Gah! That was too honest! Even more customers leave the line, dealing the lethal blow. There were other takoyaki stands after all.
いやー、なんか私らとんでもないことをしてるような。
The guy who owns the stand is like, I'm gonna kill you.
ほら、サトコ、あんたが始めたことなんだからビシッとここで逆転させなさいよ。
無理でございますわ。タコの入っていないたこ焼きなんてどう褒めればいいんですの？
Oh, also, I just realized, I don't think I ever saw the different art style for the Shrine Maiden costume. Rika looks so disappointed there. Oh, that looks nice. You know what? Let's go for this art style for a little bit. Gah, you idiot! Satoko's angry outburst was the finishing blow.
お客さんみんないなくなっちゃった。あれれ、おじさん睨んでる。なんでだろう、なんでだろう。
Because we just... Dude, if you made bad food, that's on you, not on us. There's no saving this crowd. Perhaps I, Keiichi Maibara-sama, will lend a generous hand.
ケイイチならきっとなんとかできますですよ。タコなしたこ焼き屋さんを助けてあげてほしいのです。
But it's his own fault.
笑顔でトゲのあることを言うな。
Glad I could make you hungry.
まあわかった。俺がプロの技を見せてやるからよく見てろよ。
I shoved the stick into an octopus-less takoyaki and crammed it into my mouth. As before, there wasn't any octopus in it. But Mion's had some in it. That was the important point.
このたこ焼き屋の親父さんは本当の意味でたこ焼きが好きなんだ。いや、 愛してると言っていい。
Everyone gasped in surprise, including the takoyaki vendor glaring at us.
あの親父さんは本当にたこ焼きが大好きなんだ。大好きだからこそいい加減なたこ焼きを作りたくないんだ。そうだね、親父さん。
The takoyaki vendor looked down, unsure. Those watching were listening intently, wanting to know why octopusless takoyaki deserved such a high rating.
でもケイチさん、そんなにたこ焼きが大好きならどうしてタコ
He loved it so much, he ate it ahead of time.
たこ焼きに対する裏切りではございませんの？
そうだな、ある意味裏切りだ。だがこれは親父さんにとっての最大の妥協点なんだ。親父さんは今日だって本当のたこ焼きを作ってるよ。
You are just lying.
それはこの中のほんの一つか二つでしかない。
まあそうだね。私の食べた一つにはタコは入ってたし、タコが入ってる分にはそんなに悪い味じゃなかったよ。
そう、それが本物のたこ焼きだ。それ以外のたこ焼きは8個入ってなきゃたこ焼きじゃないという一般人の先入観への最大限の妥協なんだ。
Is that really how you're gonna do this?
ケイチ君の言う意味がわからないよ。どうして本物は一つで他は偽物なのかな？
その
He's gonna be a politician. That's not a good thing. I don't want politicians that do double speak like this. I want more politicians that are just regular people who are like, I care about the community. I think that would be better.
親父さん、このタコ本物の明石のタコだね。
But the problem is most top politicians go into it because they want to be famous / have power, which generally don't make for good politicians.
近年明石のタコの水揚げは激減してとても高騰しているんだ。たこ焼きなんかにとても使えないようなとても高い値段になってしまってるんだ。
Then the man who had been looking down this whole time mumbled.
ああ、そうよ。明石のタコはすごく高いんだよ。
でも親父さんは明石のタコにこだわったんだ。安物のいい加減なタコを使えばいくらでもごまかせるのに。
Oh, is that how it was?
明石のじゃないのに明石というのぼりを立てて販売してるインチキたこ焼き屋はいくらでもあるのに、親父さんはごまかさなかった。嘘をつかなかった。
Dang, Keiichi's pretty good at this,
タコは
actually.
明石。この一点だけを堅くなに譲らなかったんだ。親父さんはたこ焼きを愛してた。だから嘘をつけなかった。でもどうしても一点だけ強いられる妥協点があったんだ。
それは何ですの？
数さ。たこ焼きってのは一船8個がポピュラーだ。いくら本物の明石のタコだからって言って400円で1個だけってわけにはいかないだろ。
Yeah, it's very true.
でも8個にしなくては買ってもらえない。だから親父さんは涙を飲んだ。本物のたこ焼きを一つ作るために残り7個に嘘をつくしかなかったんだ。
Oh, whoa! The octopus-free takoyaki vendor burst into tears. I gently clapped one of his shoulders.
みんなが何と言おうと俺はあんたの純粋さを忘れない。
Oh,
あん
brother.
たこそは本物のたこ焼き屋なんだ。あんただけがたこ焼き屋を
He has a way with words, that's for sure. I think you want the 2023 Ford Go Places. Shia LaBeouf was clapping for that. As I embraced the shoulders of this man, shedding his manly tears, those watching delivered a round of applause, moved by my speech.
さあみんな、この本物のたこ焼き屋のたこ焼きをどうか食べてやってくれ。こんな純粋な男を大事にしなくてどうして本当のたこ焼き道が守れようか。みんなが食わないなら俺が食うぞ。
But it's $4!
見てた人たちがみんな並ぶよ。
You're welcome, Mr. Salesman.
ケイチ君、やったやった。
たこ焼きが美味しそうに感じたってより、ケイちゃんの味演説が面白かったからだろうね。
Yeah, like the Brits, they're taking a propaganda.
ケイちゃんってガマの油売りとかやったらかなりウケるかもしれない。
スーパーの実演販売でもやればウケそうですよ。
Keiichi would be the best at Costco giving out the free samples.
怪 怪しい万能包丁とか売りつける仕事に向いてそうですよね。
Or he'd be the one who's like, you should switch to Verizon. Absolutely stunned at my successful pitch. The guy manning the stall next to this one called out to me.
おいおい兄ちゃんたち僕のあんず飴も頼むよ。
よし、要領はつかめただろう。今度はレナが行け。
よーし。
If you do that to every stall, though, they won't be special anymore.
はうあんず飴が冷えててとっても美味しいんだよ。水飴の上にね、ちょこんってあんずが乗ってるの。
I do like a good apricot.
はうかわいいね。お持ち帰り。はう
It looks like she lost herself in this midway, though. But a girl giving it such natural praise was itself bringing in some customers. The line was quickly forming behind Rena.
今度はお好み焼き屋だ。さとこ行け。
焼きそばに揚げ玉入りでカリカリなのがとっても美味しいでございますわ。
Okay, you know, this turned kind of wholesome. Now they're like, we're gonna help out all the we're gonna help out all the people who have the stalls and make sure everyone gets to enjoy their hard work.
大きなベーコンが丸ごと敷いて
Oh, yeah, I want that one. All you had to say was huge piece of bacon, and I am in.
おお、
It's very true.
うまいうまい。それなら俺も食ってみたくなる。
Here's the thing. Everybody has something that they're great at. Some people can make the best plate of nachos that you've ever devoured. Some people are excellent brain surgeons. Maybe some people know how to tell a great story. Keiichi, he can convince people of the craziest stuff. Then a huge line formed at my words. What on earth is this? So basically all these onlookers are just following us around to all these stands.
みんなのを聞いてから食べるといつもよりずっと美味しく感じるからなのですよ。
That's what Rena said earlier. So that's it. Even Rika was gorging herself on the food, getting sauce on the bib she'd put on to prevent her shrine maiden outfit from getting dirty.
よーし、おじさんも盛り上がってきたよ。よし、ケイちゃん、私はどれだ？
Okay, you know, this turned really wholesome. I actually like
よっ
this.
しゃ。ミオはさらにその隣の露店へ行け。ミオンの底力を見せてみろ。
あれ？でもケイチ君。
Please tell me Shio is manning this one. Whoops. A goldfish scooping stand. A bit out of our element.
いや、部活の部長たるもの、相手が何であれ逃げられないね。
Everybody needs a goldfish.
ミオンさんのお手並み拝見でございますわ。
The onlookers were also watching Mion with hopeful eyes.
いらっしゃい。はいよ。網とワン。
You want to pet goldfish?
よし、やるぞ。
Okay, Mion, that's a little close. Think about our personal space, alright? Ha ha! Here we go. Let's go back to the remake out style.
金魚はみんな生きがいいね。実に美味しそう。
No! Back!
この小さいのなんか、そのままボリボリと生でいけちゃう
Mion,
よ
you're
ね。
being weird. Mutter.
ミオンさんは何を言ってるんでございますの？兄ちゃん食べてたの？去年レナからもらったのも食べちゃったの？
Well, it's like sushi!
違う。私そんなこと言ってない。
Mion's face went red and she shook it vehemently in
い
denial.
や、でも今ミオン、お前自分で言ったぞ。
I was just...
実に美味しそうだ。
I was just pandering.
ええ、確かに。
Oh, there she is!
お姉って雑食ですから、口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです。
美味しいなら今度僕も試してみる
No,
のです。
Rika.
ダメだよリカちゃん、お腹壊しちゃうよ。
Wait a second. Hey, what the hell? What the hell? Shion, how long have you been here?
はーい。ケイちゃんにお姉にみんな、こんばんは。あんたどこから湧いてきたのしよう。焼きそば屋さんの時からずっとです。
She's just been tagging
お
along.
姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられました。もうあんたは関係ないでしょ。早くどっかへ消えなさいよ。もう お姉もあ
To
ま
be
り私を
fair,
邪
there's
険にしないでください。
nobody Shion's age in the area. It's all like old guys like, I can't wait to eat not real octopus.
なあ、ケイちゃん。私が一緒でもいいです
Oh,
よ
the
ね。
beer's the best part of the night. She asks, grabbing my arm and pushing her chest into it. Okay, Shion, that's inappropriate, and we don't do that here. Alright? Oh, wait, I can't use that as a thumbnail. That spoils that they're two different people. Uh-huh.
ケイチ君、鼻血出てるよ。
Excuse me, she forced her bazongas onto me.
ところてんを押したらニューって出てくるだろ。
Again, that's not how nosebleeds work!
あれと同じだ。これは抗いようのない現象なんだよ。
へえ、そうなんですか。じゃあ力を入れたらもっと出てくるかな。ギュ
Okay, not really a fan of Shion no mo. Shion's your cleavage, it's right up against my chest. Yeah. It's not how nosebleeds work!
シオン、あんたこら何やってんの。
Yeah, that's actually kind of a justifiable reaction.
不潔ですわ。見損ないましたよ。僕の平らなお胸ではどうなる
Rika, sweetie, how about you go play somewhere else? Nope, nope, this is wrong. This is very wrong. I'm not reading any of this. I'm not reading any of this. Shion, Rika, and I, our faces now bruised, fall to the ground, limbs sprawled. Oh, did Rena just punch us out?
よくやったレナ。
Good.
みんな不潔なんだよ。
That was very, very...
殴られたのです。
You deserved it,
痛
Rika.
いのですよ。リカは自業自得でしたよ。
Yeah, I'm with you. What the butts was that, Rika? That is completely inappropriate. Ugh. Now that Shion was here, the energy around us had increased by 120%. I don't like the energy she's bringing. Oh, it's so funny. Sexual harassment is a
お
joke.
姉の友達は実に愉快です。退屈しないな。ああ、そう。あんたさえいなくなればもっと愉快なんだけどね。もっと一緒にいたいけど、あんまりケイちゃんを誘惑すると本当にお姉に噛みつかれちゃ
Yeah,
う
I
そうです。
don't like Shion no mo.
だから私一時退却しますね。また来ます。じゃあね、お姉。二度と来るな。
So, this is interesting, because in Chapter 1, Rena was the crazy psycho that I wanted nothing to do with. But now, in Chapter 2, Rena seems like she's the only real winner out of the group. After teasing her older sister so much, Shion ran away into the crowd of people and disappeared.
なんだか珍しいミオンさんを見た気がしますわ。
How have we gotten to the point where Satoko is the second most likable character now?
しーちゃんが一緒だとみーちゃんなんだかかわいいね。
Rena smiled happily, earning her a whack on the head from Mion.
アホなこと言ってんじゃないよ。次行くよ、次。
This started out so wholesome, and then you do that to me. We went about it just like that, really noisy and lively, to the other stands. We were paying money towards the beginning, but midway through, the guys running the shops thought we were just too funny, and we ended up being able to fool around without paying much more. Glump. The vigorous sound of a big taiko drum echoed through the air. Oh yeah, Rika, you need to be going.
そろそろ時間みたいでございましたよ。あ、いよいよなんだね。
Right, it's just about time for Rika to appear in her offertory dance.
ちょっとドキドキしてるのです。
信じなって。自分を。
It's just like the Arthur theme song said. Believe in yourself. That's the place to
絶
start.
対に無駄になんかならないから。
Mion slapped hard on Rika-chan's back.
そうですわ。リカはきっとやり遂げますわ。頑張るのですよ。その息だよ。
I balled my hand into a fist and raised it into the air.
応援してるぞリカちゃん。ファイトオンだぜ。
ファイトオン。
Rika gave the best smile I'd ever seen and then pivoted on her heel and ran off.
じゃあ私たちも行こうよ。
そうだな。応援してやろうぜ。
ダメですのよ。演舞中は静かにしていないといけませんでございますわよ。
I got it! Jeez! I rubbed a hand through her hair. She was worried about her good friend up to the end.
なら急いで行かないといい場所がなくなっちゃうよ。行こう。
I did not read that right. Oh well. Mion ran off and everyone else followed a moment later. A large amount of people had already clustered into the tight space to watch the edifying dance.
こりゃすごい人出だな。
Do we get like a CG cutscene? I turned around to look at everyone else, but nobody was there. Where did everybody go? They probably got lost among all these people. Finally, I spotted the back of Mion's head on the other side of the crowd. No, it's gonna be Shion. It definitely doesn't look like I can get over there. Well, we got separated. No big deal. We can just meet back up when Rika's dance is over. I gave up on finding the others and wandered around, trying to look for a place where I'd be able to see better. Oh, is this gonna be like, I wasn't with them, so maybe they killed the people? It didn't take long for me to realize I'd have to settle for watching between the heads of the people in front of me, though. Thump. Once again, an even louder taiko drum resounded. This one was to announce the beginning of the dance. I couldn't see very well, but it seemed like Rika had come on stage with the elders, who were in priestly garb. I heard low exultations of admiration and the seniors rubbing their prayer beads in gratitude. Everyone's heads were in the way, and I couldn't see. It was really frustrating. We should have cut playtime short and come here to get the good spots earlier. After Rika intoned the prayers, she took the festival hoe and walked to the piles of quilts stacked on the altar. That's right. The point of the ceremony was to purify bedding and to hold a memorial service, wasn't it? Then the solemn offertory dance began. She had to practice using a mochi-pounding mallet. The awkwardly shaped festival hoe Rika-chan held seemed really heavy. Back and forth, up and down. It was doubtlessly difficult to even lift in the air, but she sweated and waved and raised and dropped it again and again. She couldn't just deal with it and do it grudgingly. As the shrine maiden, she needed to retain the dignity and solemnity present at the festival. There must be a ton of pressure on Rika's shoulders right now. Damn! Why am I cheering her on from a place I can barely see her? I'm her friend, so I should be right up in the best spot rooting for her.
ケイちゃん、こっちこっち。
Someone tugged lightly on the back of my shirt collar. It was Shion. She beckoned me outside the crowded ring of people. She had a mischievous grin on her face, and I took it as her saying she knew a good place nobody else knew of.
シオンなんだなんだ
Hey, wanna kill someone?
黙ってついてきてくださいね。
After she told me, she ran in a big detour around the throne. Man, it's great to have somebody who knows the lay of the land here at times like this. Impressed though I was, I nearly lost sight of her right away. No more getting separated for me. I ran after her so I wouldn't be left behind. As I wandered in anticipation of what kind of a secret spot Shion had in mind, we left the crowd of people and went around to the back of the shrine grounds.
おいおいどこ行くんだよ。これじゃあどんどん離れちゃってるぞ。
Let's skip the Rika and let's just make out over here.
黙ってついてくればわかりますから。
Shion gave me a wink that reminded me of Mion as she said that. No sign of people, and not much moonlight. It was dark. We'd gotten pretty far away from the crowd of people on the shrine grounds. How are we supposed to see Rika's dance from here?
そっか。どこか高いところがあるんだな。屋根の上とか、そういうところから見下ろそうって言うんだろ
はい？なんで屋根に登んなくちゃいけないんです？
う。だってそうじゃなかったらどうやってリカちゃんの演舞を見るんだよ。
リカちゃまの演舞なんか見たかったんですか？
Yeah.
ケイちゃん、ひょっとしてストライクゾーンものすごく低くありません？
Shion, I don't appreciate this.
なんだか話が微妙に噛み合わないぞ。お前は俺をリカちゃんの演舞がよく見える場所に案内
No, I
して
wanted
くれ
to
るんじゃ
make
ない
out
の
with
か
you, to make my sister jealous.
はい？誰もそんな約束してませんよ。
Gah! What's going on? Why me? Why do I always misunderstand Shion? Because she's purposefully cryptic. Is it my fault? Am I just reading the wrong things into it?
じゃあお前は俺をなんでこんなところに呼び出したんだよ。
With an expression that indicated she wasn't fooling around, Shion pressed her index finger to my lips and said slowly and quietly, "This place is a dark, dead, empty spot. You can't see it from the festival grounds, and now a male and female of the same age are all alone together." No, Shion! We ain't turning this into an X-rated thing. Buh! Could this be... Shion, she's not planning something crazy again, is she?
あれを見てください。
Shion whispered, pointing into the dark underbrush. And there we saw two figures, one male and one female. Oh.
なんだありゃ。
Never mind.
まさか。
合いびきの生現場に決まってるじゃないですか。
Oh, are we gonna spy somebody else making out? Because that's also not cool.
ほらほら、よく見てください。あれ、誰だかわかります？
Appeared intently into the dark at Shion's suggestion. Oh, it's Tomitake and Takano. The two of them were clearly breathing quietly and glancing around to make sure nobody knew where they were, as they crouched before the entrance to a wooden storehouse-like building. Oh wait! They're going to break into the place to find the evidence! That's what's going on.
まさかシオン、これを見せたくて俺を呼んだの
Oh,
か
maybe they did that in the first chapter and that's why they got targeted, because they're like, they're finding the evidence, we can't have that.
ケイちゃん、リカちゃまの演舞は毎年見られるけど、こういうのは二度とお目にかかれませんよ。
She's like, you already saw it in chapter 1. You want something different. I thought that the Sonozaki sisters each had their own personalities, but at times like this they seemed all too similar.
俺帰るぞ。二度とこんな
If
の
I'm right on
や
that,
る
then
な
yes, that notebook was Takano's.
今動いたらバレちゃいますって。
As at our noisy argument, Takano suddenly turned around.
あらあら、どなたかしら？
We held our breaths and tried to wait it out, but it seemed like Takano was now acutely aware of our presence. Shion and I exchanged glances and then gave up and climbed out from behind the bush.
どうもこんばんは。お月様の綺麗ないい夜ですね。
Oh, the moon is lovely
あ
tonight.
らあら、シオンちゃんに前原くんじゃない？こんばんは。月の綺麗な夜ね。
おやおや、ケイチ君も隅に置けないね。こんなところで合いびきかい？
No.
だとしたら、僕たちとんでもない
I
お
was
邪魔を
kind
しちゃったな。
of shipping Keiichi and Shion earlier. Not anymore. Not anymore. You're the ones who were meeting up secretly. Then again, maybe Keiichi and Shion are actually fine. Tomitake-san and Takano laughed to themselves, and it got on my nerves for some reason.
ってことは、富武さんたちは合いびきしてたってわけじゃないみたいですね。
それはもちろん違うよ。
Shion was actually trying to stop them from doing something like making out before marriage.
そういうロマンスも嫌いじゃないけどね。
残念だけど、あなたたちが覗き見したくなるような合いびき現場じゃないのよ。
I don't really get into shipping things. Having said that, if I had to like pair Keiichi with one of the girls, probably Rena. At least if she's not a psycho. Because they seem to get along very well.
期待に添えなくて申し訳ないわね。
合いびき現場じゃなかったら何してるんですか？富武さん、今扉の南京錠をいじ
I knew it! I knew it! They were gonna break open the padlock. Huh? After she said that, I looked at the two of them again. And I definitely saw it. They were hunched in front of the warehouse door, fiddling with a pretty heavy-looking padlock.
バレちゃしょうがないな。僕たちが倉庫破りをしてたなんて内緒だよ。
That's a ship I can get behind. Yes. I don't like shipping real life people together unless they're actually already together.
内緒って、それ泥棒ってことですか？
I demanded unthinkingly, just because of how absently Tomitake was grinning.
やあね。
Okay, Shaggy's playing Resident Evil. How fun.
泥棒ってのは物を盗む人たちのことでしょ。別に私たちは物を持ち出そうとしている
We
わけ
just
じゃない
wanted
の
to
よ。
look.
へえ。じゃあ何のために鍵開けなんかしてるんですか？ここ開かずの西宮殿ですよね。
We're gonna have to keep this a secret, and then when we return and our other friends are gonna be like, Keiichi, where were you? Why did you not watch Rika's dance? Shion's gonna be like, we were making out. And then Keiichi's gonna be too flustered to say otherwise. They're gonna be like, I can't believe Keiichi ditched Rika to make out with Shion. This is the worst. He's such a perv.
フルデ家とほんの一握りの人間しか入ることが許されない。
Based on my experience with visual novels and anime, that's what's definitely gonna happen. Forbidden Storehouse. I took a few steps back at that and looked at the entire warehouse. It certainly looked like one, built removed from any signs of people, almost as if in secret. It was still filthy, revealing how little it was ever opened. And it was built to be durable, giving a strange, overpowering impression. Now that I looked at it more closely, it was certainly different than normal warehouses.
ここはね、 細具殿といってね、細具をしまっている倉庫なの。いえ、細具を祀っている神殿と言ってもいいかもしれないわね。
Oh no, we might get framed for this, actually.
リカちゃんが奉納演舞で使っている祭事用のクワも今日までこの中にしまわれていたものよ。
Is this where the golden watering can
も
is?
ちろん
I could get behind that.
フルデ家の人間以外は汚れを持ち込むから立ち入り禁止の不可侵領域。
Oh, it's like the tabernacle.
聖域なの。
But heathen. Shouldn't we absolutely not be coming to a place like this then? However, Takano was wearing a childlike expression, an innocent smile at best, and a terribly cruel grin at worst.
私、ひなみ沢の昔語りや伝承を趣味で研究している。
How does Takano have this much free time if she's like the only nurse in town?
私の知的興味のさまざまな答えがこの中に詰まってるの。この中に入れるチャンスを今日までずっと待ってたんだから。
A chance. Everybody's eyes were fixed on the dance at the shrine grounds today. This was the ultimate blind spot.
へえ。富武さんに鍵開けの技術があるなんて知りませんでした。
あ、よしてくれよ。僕だっていやいややってるんだよ。
My girlfriend's making me do this.
付き合わせてしまってごめんなさいね。でも二郎さんのおかげよ。感謝してるわ。
やれやれ。でも高野さん、こういうのはこれっきりにしてくれよ。こういうところに黙って入り込むのはやっぱり気が引けるよ。
やっぱり二郎さんはいい人ね。
Tomitake undid the padlock and placed it to the side.
開いたよ。
Now your fingerprints are on it, bro.
ありがとう。いよいよね。
Takano gulped. With an unusually excited air about her, she gave a heavy door a shove. Ooh. The sharp smell of mold and dust flowed out from the gap in the doors. I had claimed curses didn't exist, but in this situation I could believe in them. If we went into such a holy place with our shoes on, it feels like we could be punished somehow.
どう？
Now that's somebody who knows the book of Exodus.
あなたたちも共犯なんだし。
No, we're not. We
せ
just
っか
stood
くだ
here.
から一緒に見学しない？ひなみ沢の皮脂を埋める貴重な文化遺産の。
What's inside? Just a pack of Twinkies.
今日だけの限定
Rika left them there.
別に俺たち共犯ってわけじゃ。
面白いと思いません？
Okay, Shion, respect my personal space, please.
ねえ、覗いてみましょうよ。
Shion said that predictably, linking her arm in with
で
mine.
もこれは絶対いけないことだよ。神聖な倉庫なんだろ。細具殿って言ったっけ。ますます勝手に入っちゃまずいよ。
私は一応園崎の人間ですから、この中にあるものはおおよそ想像
We'll
がつい
find
て
all
ま
the
す。
kidnapping victims.
でもそれはケイちゃんにも見てもらいたいものです。
俺に見てもらいたいもの。
I thought it was just a ploy, but Shion's eyes looked entirely serious. Of course, she was the sort who could lie with a straight face. Of course, I was an average boy, too. My curiosity was at least twice that of a normal person. Sleeping, forbidden treasures, never to leave this warehouse. Chances like this don't come around too often. If I had to choose, then I want to see. Until the locked door is open, though, I don't know about this.
面白くないって思ったら、ケイちゃんはすぐに出ればいいです。
I'm telling!
と興味を惹かれると思いますけどね。
Tomitake spoke after listening to our discussion, himself having sat down on the stairs to take a short rest.
僕がここで見張っててあげるから一緒に見てきてごらん。僕はあまり趣味じゃないけど。
He's like, I'm just here for my
圭一君
girlfriend.
みたいな若い男の子には結構面白いかもしれないよ。
I thought fingerprinting was around in the 80s. Maybe not in small little Hinamizawa, but if they were desperate. He said that, laughing mischievously. There was no ill will in his laughter.
富武さんはこの中に何があるのか知ってるんですか。
まあね。
It's Rika's secret cranberry bread recipe.
高野さんにたっぷり聞かされてるからね。
相方の特殊な趣味に付き合わされる殿方も大変ですね。
Tomitake didn't answer that, only responding with a pained smile. I just do it to make my girlfriend happy. Takano had this kind of scary air about her, like she'd drop absolutely everything else for something she had an interest in and go straight for it. But Tomatake, on the other hand, seemed like the gold standard of what a normal person should be. Yeah, he's the only normal guy. Having him tell me so frankly to go check it out suddenly made the guilt feel lighter.
じゃあちょっとだけな。面白くなかったらす
We'll
ぐ出る
just do
ぞ。
a little desecration. You got it. Shion gave me another Mion-like wink.
決まったみたいね。じゃあ行きましょうか。次郎さん、留守番をお願いね。
FBI, open up! Tomatake waved his hand to see us off. The inside was pitch black, but Takano turned on the battery-powered lantern she'd brought, revealing a pretty cramped front room.
真っ暗だね。みんな転ばないように気をつけるんだよ。
ご心配ありがとう。じゃあ門番をよろしくね。ここ閉めるわよ。
Takano smiled spitefully, as if leaving Tomatake out of something fun, and began to close the door.
やれやれ。じゃあみんなゆっくり楽しんでおいで。
Have fun committing desecration on the ancient Indian burial ground. There was a low, heavy, and loud noise, and we were completely cut off from the outside world, and covered in silent darkness. Takano's lantern was the only light we had. I don't trust Takano.
大丈夫よ。
I also don't trust Shion.
予備電池も入ってるアウトドア仕様なんだから。冷えたりなんかしないわよ。
Looks like Takano noticed my uneasy expression. I couldn't help but blush a little and avert my gaze. Deeper inside, there was a heavy and old but sturdy door with solemn decorations on it. It was the last door sealing away what was within.
ただの倉庫なのに前室があるなんて変わってるでしょ。一度に1枚ずつ扉を出入りさせることによって西宮殿の中が外に見えないようにする工夫だと考えられるわ
What could they possibly have that's this big of a secret? It's got to be the cranberry bread recipe. Takano explained this, awfully impressed by the construction. But still, it's really dark in here. Huh? That over there, it's... I spotted a circuit breaker hanging from a clump of wiring, clumsily attached to the wall.
あ、これ明かりのブレーカーか何かじゃないですか？
I flipped the biggest switch I can find, and with a click, the pitch-black room was illuminated by the old bare light bulb. I thought you were just going to turn off all power in Hinamizawa. Everyone scrunched up their faces at the sudden strobe-like brightness.
ダメです。
Before she even finished, Shion slapped my hand and flipped the switch back. There was another loud click, and the room returned to darkness, with only the lantern for illumination.
いてててて。
ダメです、ケイちゃん。
Uh-oh. Somebody's a little angry. How dare you!
私たちここに忍び込んでるんですよ。明かりなんかつけたらバレちゃうかもしれないじゃないですか。
There are no windows here. I'm scolded by Shion fairly harshly. It looked like she was worried about whether someone had seen them from the momentary light.
大丈夫よ。本当に一瞬だし。
Takano remained a relaxed adult. It seemed like she was confident she could walk her way out of it if someone did, or talk her way out of it if someone did see us.
入りましょう。よいしょっと。
The even heavier door opened, and this time it wasn't just the dust that came out with the air. There was also a nasty smell. One smell was like opening a dust-filled cupboard in the back of the kitchen that hadn't been opened in years. And the other smell, the nasty one, was hard to explain, but it was like the raw odor of a fish market. Is there a dead body in there? From how the sound echoed, this room felt far larger than the first. Takano held up her lantern and revealed the contents of the expansive room. As the back wall of the storehouse, right in front of us, there was a Buddha-like holy object there, standing there, looking down at us. I was taken aback by its unseen force, lit up by the slender beam of the lantern.
あれがひなみ沢の守り神、お社様よ。
That's Oyashiro-sama, but like right next to you? Huh, looks like Palpatine.
社にあるのよりずっと立派ですね。
Oyashiro-sama. So this is the spirit protecting Hinamizawa. The one guarding the holy land of Hinamizawa from the impurities of the outside world, and the one delivering punishment after punishment upon those who attempted to sully the land of the damned construction.
想像してたよりたくさんの細具が収められているようね。
That's a lot of tools on the wall that could definitely be used for murder/torture.
でも残念。どれもあまり手入れがされていないわ。状態が悪いのが悔やまれるわね。
No, I can't kill people with those. Like, literally, what do we got? We got, like, a giant saw. We've got an axe. We've got pliers with spikes on them. Yeah, very normal. We got a pitchfork. We got all sorts of junk in there. We got a sledgehammer. We have a restraining device and a grindstone and a coffin. Wow. The restraining table is definitely the most frightening thing in that room. Even in the dim light, I could see a lot of strange objects lining the walls, ceiling, and shelves. Takano, speaking as if in a trance, was infatuated by the various implements filling the dark room. They weren't very festival-like, or traditional, but instead, this was more like the workshop of a blacksmith or a carpenter. There were a lot of large wooden and metal tools packed in here. Putting it bluntly, it was all pretty boring stuff. I'd imagine there would be more artistic things in here from the Heian period, but these are a far cry from being cultural artifacts. You don't even notice the table with all the straps that can restrain you? That's a pretty creepy thing. My expression betrayed my dashed hopes, and they caught on right away.
あら、面白くないかしら?
Not really.
俺は文系でも美術系でもないんで。
she looks so disappointed. She's like, oh, she's smiling in the main art style, though. That's so weird. Why is she smiling in the OG art style, but then she has this disapproving, like, how dare you, in the others. Also, wait, what the heck? Okay, she's wearing a completely different... Well, when we released this on PlayStation, we decided, you know what Takano needs? She needs a lower-cut dress that shows off some cleavage. That's what we need. And the remake's like, no. No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, there are also cages up there. That's fun. And a stepladder. Nice.
あんまりこういうのを見てもよく価値がわからないです。
圭一君はよくわかってないみたいね。無理もないけれど。
Takano reached into a paper bag that she'd been holding the whole time, took out a worn scrapbook and began to flip through it.
じゃあ、圭一君のために昔話でも聞か
I
せ
don't want
て
to
も
hear
ら
more
おう
of your
かしら。
stories.
この地方では一般的な昔話よ。図書館に行けば教育委員会推薦の本にも載ってるくらいにね。
Telling stories in such a dark, creepy place. She must have a horror story in mind. Shion's face belied nothing but calm. If she had the same personality as Mion, she'd have found fault with me being scared. I'll endure it for now and pretend to be calm.
いい？じゃあ、読むわよ。
After confirming that I was going to be quiet and listen, she began to speak softly, like a kindergarten teacher reading a picture book.
昔々、ある山奥の村にね、その沼はね、底なしの深い深い沼でね。
And then one day they heard someone say, "What are you doing in my swamp?"
地の底の鬼の国につながっていたんですって。
That's ridiculous. No one's in hell yet. The rumors said that it was deeper than the ocean, and that anyone it swallowed would sink into the underworld, a bottomless swamp. Its name was Onigafuchi. Wait. I thought back to the story I heard yesterday about the sacrifices sinking in the bottomless swamp. Could that be the swamp she's talking about?
ってことは、その村はひなみ沢ですね。
察しがいいわね。そうよ。当時は鬼ヶ淵村って呼ばれてたけどね。
鬼ヶ淵村。物騒な響きのある名前だな。
イメージもあったんでしょうね。明治の頃に今の名前に改称されたって聞きました。
The name of the swamp connected to hell was called Onigafuchi, which meant the demon's abyss. And the true name of this village, Hinamizawa, was Onigafuchi Village.
村人たちは鬼の国、つまりは地獄のことね。鬼の国とつながるという沼を崇めながら過ごしてきたの。
I sense blasphemies.
でもね、ある日のこと。
Wow, there we go. Now that's a thumbnail. Doesn't he look great? Demons began to appear one after another from deep in the swamp. Yeah, see, I knew this was a satanic cult. The villagers feared that hell was overflowing. Well, I can see why. I actually don't think I can make that the thumbnail. It looks a little too creepy. The demons mercilessly attacked the villagers. They could only watch in fear. They could do no more than hide themselves and tremble.
で、誰かが鬼を退治するわけですか？
残念だけど、このお話には桃太郎みたいな正義の味方は登場しないわ。
Ruh-roh.
じゃあ、村を挙げて戦うわけですか？
まさか、 村人たちに鬼と互角に戦える力など
That's
あ
the
るわけも
thing.
ない。
Demons are still extraordinarily strong. Way stronger than mere humans.
じゃあ村を捨てて逃げるしかないですよね。
You needed Jesus.
それも無理ね。村人たちにとっても村は大切な郷里だったから。どんな恐ろしい鬼が攻めてきたからといって簡単に逃げ出せるはずもなかったのよ。
じゃあどうするんですか。滅びるしかないじゃないですか。
Okay, hang on. One thing I'm curious about. If we go to the remake, that's the same. That's interesting. Alright. Okay, I just wanted to see if it was a song that I would have recognized from the old soundtrack. Or the Steam soundtrack, whatever it is. Unable to fight and unable to run, all they could do was wait for the village to be destroyed. Then, when everyone had lost hope, their god, Oyashiro-sama, descended unto them.
なるほど。つまり天からやってきたお社様が鬼たちをやっ
There
つける
ain't
わけです
no
か。
way Oyashiro-sama is not part of the demons.
ケイちゃんは男の子ですね。すぐに腕力で解決する方に走るんですから。
Shion sighed, a little annoyed. Embarrassed, I held my tongue.
お社様はね、やっつけるとかそういう暴力的な神様じゃなかったの。もっと優しい慈愛のある神様だったの。
Sure! That's why there's a curse about him. The strength of Oyashiro-sama descended from the heavens couldn't be compared to that of the demons. They didn't even fight. They simply prostrated themselves before his radiant authority. Oyashiro-sama urged them to go back to hell from whence they came, but the demons wept and challenged him, saying they could never return.
鬼たちの世界にも厳しい戒律があってね。彼らは地獄を追放された鬼たちだったんですって。
I was about to say how bad do you have to be to get banished from hell, but actually, I think you'd have to be righteous to be banished from hell. Demons, who didn't have a place to go, neither in hell nor in the human world. You're not using the term hell correctly, by the way. Of course, they were at fault for attacking the village. They deeply reflected on it and were sorry.
村人たちも話を聞くうちに。
Okay, now I know this is a bunch of nonsense. Demons repenting? Whoever heard of such a thing?
それでね、村のみんなで話を
Yeah, how could that not
鬼
end
たちと
well?
一緒に住むことを決めたの。
Guys, the demons are misunderstood.
退治するとか追っ払うっていう昔話は多いけど、共存ってのは確かに珍しいですね。
ですよね。鬼ってのは元来諸悪の象徴のはず。それとの共存を決めたというお話なんだから本当に変わってます。
It is unusual. I don't think it's going to end well. When the demons first heard the villagers' invitation, they doubted their ears, but soon burst into tears of joy. The villagers had given them a place to live. It was said that in payment for this good deed, the demons shared their many kinds of power and secrets with the villagers. Nice
お
fiction.
社様はその微笑ましい交流をとても喜んでね。鬼たちが村人と分け隔てなく暮らせるよう人間の姿を与えたんです。
The butts is going on with this story. This is a weird one.
そして自らも地上にとどまり末永く両者の交流を見守ることにしたんだそうよ。
Uh-huh. I mean, demons can take on human form, but they're not going to be living in peace. A land in which man, demon, and god live together. I had thought the word demon was a noun meaning evil that needs to be exterminated. A god may have mediated for them, but you don't often hear happy endings like that where both sides live in harmony. Because it's impossible. I see. I guess it is kind of interesting.
普通のおとぎ話ならここで終わりなんだけどね。このお話は江戸時代にだいぶ加筆されたみたいで、まだまだ続く随分と長い話になってるわ。
After that, the humans and demons intermixed, and eventually there was no difference between them.
鬼の存在は結局村に溶け込んで消えてしまったということですか。
It's like the Nephilim story, but like they tried to spin it, be like, no, it was good.
消えたりなんかしないです。半分はしっかりと残ってたそうですよ。
The knowledge the villagers had received from the demons basically made them into something inhuman, what people called transcendent. They were well aware the power they had was heresy, and those below worshipped them. They lived out their lives in secrecy.
このお話がね、その後に派生するたくさんの昔話。だからこのお話がある意味基礎中の基礎。ベーシックね。
原点ってどういう意味ですか？
She just explained that.
村人たちは鬼の血を引いているという部分ですね。つまりこの辺りに伝わるさまざまな伝承や昔話は全部
That's not something you should brag about.
鬼の血を引いているというのが前提になっているんです。
There was a hint of amusement in Shion's face as she said that. It was like she wanted to say that she too had demon blood in her. Is there any proof, though? Maybe it's somehow rooted in historical fact beyond just fairy tales.
あら、じゃあ前原君は沼から鬼が現れて人間と交わったっていうのは
It's not out of the question, but definitely the story did not go the way you said it did.
信じないわけじゃないんですけど。
Yeah, that's a creepy premise for sure. And there's evidence to say it actually did happen in the real world. When she said demon, she meant the ones from hell, but in ancient Japan, the word wasn't necessarily used to denote only that kind, right? The more well-known use involves the drifting foreigner theory. As the story goes, Westerners who were shipwrecked in nearby seas had such markedly different customs that they were called demons. Japanese people were relatively similar in appearance to other Asians, but everything about those from the West was different. Their physiques, their faces, and their skin color. True. In Japan, terms like red demon and blue demon evoke images especially of Westerners. Lacking in skin pigments, Westerners would sunburn easily and turn red. Being fair-skinned, I think blood vessels appearing on their skin would look blue, too. A handful of accidental aliens would drift into Japan and came under persecution, being called demons. They would flee into the mountains to survive, turn into bandit groups, and attack villages for food and the like. That's bad.
ちょっと子供じみてますかね。
Takano gave me a weird smile when, having come up with such impromptu hypothesis, I unconsciously followed it up with self-deprecation. Still, she didn't smile as if to make fun of me.
別におかしくないわよ。実際に漂流偉人説を唱える人もいるもの。
She's like, there are definitely real demons,
で
though.
も実際はどうなのかは誰にもわからない。山賊化した偉人の集団だったのか、本当に地の底から来た鬼たちだったのかね。
じゃあ、高野さんはどっちを信じてるんですか？
The demon theory.
真相は別にして、夢のある方を信じたいわね。その方が面白いでしょ。
I want to believe I have demon blood. No, you don't! Her answer made it sound like a wee bit like a romanticist. Here I'd thought she'd reject unrealistic stories like that.
さて、いよいよここからよ。面白くなるのは。
This is where the fun begins. Takano brought her an end to her storytelling and waits for a moment as if to tantalize us.
Huh?
Suddenly, Shion looked around as if something had caught her eye. Her head bobbed to and fro like she was making sure nothing had changed.
どうした、シオン？
ごめんなさい。気にしないでください。
Shion pretended as though nothing had happened. Takano also made sure nothing had happened, then cleared her throat and broached the next subject.
村人たちに半分鬼の血が流れてるのは話したわね。実はその血なんだけど、鬼は鬼でも人食い鬼の血なんだって言われてるの。
Oh, fun!
人食い鬼ですか？急に物騒な響きになりましたね。
That escalated quickly.
その血は今でも村人
This lady is creepy AF. Why are we hanging out with her?
時折その血が眠りを覚ますと言われてるわ。
Takano, okay, I get it. you're not being very subtle here. I thought the fairy tale had a happy ending when the humans and demons lived in peace, but it suddenly began to change into a brutal and bloody story.
人食い鬼だから何十年かに一度どうしても人肉が食べたくて仕方がなくなる周期があるんです。
Okay, there's no way that wouldn't be documented at some level at this point.
だからって村人同士で共食いするわけにはいかない。だか 彼らはその度に人里へ降り鬼隠しをしたと伝えられてるわ。
何ですか？鬼隠しって。
平たく言えば鬼たちによる誘拐行為よ。
Yeah, we heard about that all the time in chapter 1.
鬼ヶ淵村の村人たちが人里に押し入って哀れな生贄を無理やり力ずくでさらったんです。
What's the trope name for that? I think she's like a. Oh yeah, I think the term is nightmare fetishist. She has a great unhealthy obsession with the macabre. Takano's explanation was plain and simple, but when I imagined what it must have been like, it was terrifying. They lose their human reason. The villagers turn into real demons en masse. They attack the villages they loathe in the dirty world of the masses below. And then they kill and eat their sacrifices.
それじゃあ鬼と何ら変わりないじゃないですか。お社様はどうしたんです？その村にとどまって人々を見守ってるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
Nope.
もちろんお社様も了承してたそうよ。だから鬼隠しは無差別ではなく神様が決めた生贄以外。
We don't know for sure if she died in chapter 1. We just know she disappeared. Because Toмотake was the one who died with the clawed out throat, and then she disappeared. And I was suspicious that she was the one who killed him. Still, I'm not discounting the possibility entirely, because, again, she's very creepy.
ほとんどの場合は一人か二人だったって記されてるわね。
A village inhabited by those both human and inhuman. It was like the heartwarming episode's colors had inverted like negative film, revealing the painful and the ugly truth.
そうして生贄をさらってきた夜にはね、哀れな犠牲者を美味しくいただくため綿流しの儀式が開かれたというわ。
Thought Watanagashi meant cotton drifting. Watanagashi. Tonight's festival was Watanagashi. I just couldn't reconcile the fun festival with the horrible tale Takano was just telling us.
綿流しは確か冬の間に使った布団なんかに感謝するお祭りじゃなかったでしたっけ？
ケイちゃん、綿って言いません？臓物のこと。
Oh! So it's entrail drifting? Shion, who had been silent up until now, spoke up.
綿？そういえば言うな。魚の綿っていう。え
？Like a jigsaw puzzle, the fun times I had today and Takano's grotesque tale clicked together in my mind.
綿流し。
Gut spilling. I didn't think saying that could ever feel so nauseating.
そう。
Look at this! She's like, yeah! Can't wait to spill some guts tonight!
前原君の想像している通りよ。今でこそ綿流しは毎年6月に行われるちょっと早い夏祭りに過ぎないけど。
I'm digging the music though.
哀れな食材をさらってきた夜にだけ開かれた凄惨な人食いの宴のことだったの。
Takano, come on.
嘘だ。
I had no real reason to say that, but I couldn't help it.
前原君はさっき綿流しは布団を清める儀式。
Man, Rika's been dancing for a long time.
綿が詰まった布団って何を意味してると思うかしら？
布団は布団だろ。シング、寝るための道具だよ。他に何の意味があるんだよ。
I was rattling on, desperately attempting to deny the horrible festival that Takano was describing. Deep down, however, I found myself understanding all too well what she meant. Futons, stuffed with cotton. If the cotton represented entrails in both pronunciation and meaning, then entrail-filled futons would have to be humans.
では、リカちゃんがやった奉納演舞を思い出してちょうだい。
I can't, cause Shion dragged me away to make out with her.
リカちゃんがあそこで何をして
Or spy on you two making out.
わからねえよ。第一、リカちゃんの演舞は最後までちゃんと見てないし。
Shion, personal space, what have I told
ケ
you?
イちゃん、エキサイトしすぎです。
Tomotake's like, I wonder what they're talking about in there. I bet they're having a fun time. Shion grabbed one of my ears, reminding me that this wasn't somewhere I should raise my voice. There are no windows, no one will know. Even so, I still can't suppress this agitation I feel.
リカちゃんが持っていた祭事用のクワ。もううすうすは気づいてると思うけど、あれは田畑を耕すクワではなくて、 人間の腹をこじ開けるための解剖道
The
具なのよ。
butts? Oh, hi! That's certainly creepy. Wow! It's like you're trying to just... I get it, okay? She's definitely connected with this, alright? I understand. You're really being heavy-handed with how creepy you're making Takano. She's purposely making it ugly. Yeah, sure, right. I didn't see the dance all the way through, so I don't know what kind of performance Rika was putting on after I had left. When I told this to Takano, she kindly explained Rika's dance to me. To summarize what she said, after what I'd seen, Rika would pierce the futons with that hoe, cut them open, and pull out the cotton inside. She'd cut the cotton out one bit at a time and set it afloat. That's the kind of ritual it was.
平たく言えば、魚の綿を取り出して三角コーナーに捨てるのを仰々しく儀式
Oh, look
仕
at
立
that
てにした
sword on the
ってこと
wall.
ね。それで儀式はおしまい。
This is Takano's Christmas right here. She's like, oh my gosh. Takano would be the lady who would start putting up decorations for Halloween, like right after the 4th of July, and would leave them up until Christmas. She's just like, Halloween is the greatest holiday. I can totally mess with these kids. 10 out of 10 creepy. Well, it's not super creepy. It's more ominous. It's not like a true nightmare face, though.
その後はそれぞれの役割を持った村人たちがおのおのに肉を解体して美味しくいただいたって考えられてるわね。
At Takano's strangely happy giggle, I felt for some reason violent displeasure. Yeah! Rika, every day during our lunch break, she'd take a rice-pounding mallet into the schoolyard, and she'd work so hard, sweating bullets to practice for the offertory dance that she had done today. All that effort, all that work. Takano disgraced it. Even though she worked hard to practice for today.
高野さんももう少し言葉を選んでほしいです。
No, I think I chose them great.
ケイちゃん、ナイーブなんですから、あまりからかわないで。
There's no way this is teasing. She's like just showing us how creepy she is. A moment before I opened my mouth to express how angry I was, Shion stopped me. Shion must have been fully aware of how that story made me feel.
ごめんなさい。
So for some reason, this lady seems kind of creepy. Yeah, I wonder why. She's breaking into creepy torture sheds and telling ghost stories.
男の子だからショッキングな話は結構好きかと思って。
Uh-huh. Takano spoke without a hint of malice as she smiled gracefully.
この辺まで話を聞けば、ケイちゃんにもこの細具殿の中にどういうものがあるのか理解できるようになってきませんか？ほら。
Shion pointed to one of the walls, vaguely illuminated by the lantern's light. There was... mere moments ago, they hadn't held at my interest. They were just boring-looking tools lined up on the shelves. All those uninteresting tools that I didn't understand how to use, they all suddenly took on a new meaning, and I couldn't help but let out a groan. At first they had looked like carpentry tools, like chisels or planes. However, when I thought back, I'd seen pictures of these sorts of tools before. Yeah, they came up in a Japanese history textbook. Yes, on the page introducing the Katai Shinsho, or the new text on anatomy.
こういうのはね、医学の本場、ドイツの文献の方がリアルに掲載されてるわよ。
These aren't carpentry tools. These strangely shaped tools, they're for dissection. Everyone knows that in the Edo period they would dissect the corpses of those who had been put to death in order to gain knowledge about Western medical techniques. Illustrations of these dissection tools they used at the time came up in textbook supplements. That's true! That is how Michelangelo was able to become such a talented sculptor of the human form, because he would steal bodies from graveyards and dissect them to see how human anatomy worked. It's kind of gruesome, but also kind of cool. The fiends they hung up on this wall all looked exactly the same as those.
もっと怖い言い方をするなら、調理道具。
Yes, I would definitely want a scarier way of looking at them, you crazy lady. Takano, holding the lantern, the only source of light in the room, led us along the wall. She had the only light, so I had to walk after her, whether I liked it or not.
ほら。
Takano illuminated a coiled chain, which left a bigger impression than the other fiends we saw. The chain in itself was nothing unusual, but further along it were metal fetters that they were like hinges, clearly meant for binding people. Yeah, I pointed that out immediately.
ケイちゃん、あれ。
Shion tapped me on the shoulder and pointed to a restraining table that was clearly shaped like a person. My spine froze. My blood felt like it was turning into sherbet as it crawled up my back. On each of these joints, there were things like chains and iron balls attached. It was like the table was searching for its next sacrifice, ready to spread their arms wide and close them in. Chef Keiichi, you have been chopped. Judges. Keiichi, you said that you were going to make curry, and you just served over-salted rice, and for that reason, we had to chop you. Thanks for the experience, judges. The words chopping block just sent a jolt through my body. When I looked more closely, there were many dark slices carved into it, as though from a knife or a saw. They were the most clear-cut signs of usage you could ask for. I proved these tools weren't just for show. They were used for their original purpose. If someone was strapped tightly onto this table, they probably wouldn't be able to even move a muscle. Their guts would be defenseless. You'd take one of those eerie cooking knives lined up over there, stab them with it, and then you'd slice open their belly and dissect them.
話には聞いてたけど、すごい。
Before coming in here, Shion had mentioned that she had a good guess of what was inside, but it seems to have exceeded her imagination.
まだまだあるわよ。どう？浪人業館より面白いでしょ。
Takano had this happy expression like she was visiting a toy store for the first time. I don't get it. This Mio Takano person has nerves of steel. She's also super creepy. Are these bizarre, grotesque objects that fascinating to her? I, for one, was not enjoying myself. I'll be frank. This is all too weird for me. Still, there was something even more horrifying than all of this. That would be none other than Takano herself. Yep! Takano holding the lantern, giving off such a thin beam of light. If she suddenly turned it off, then I would... What would I do when the next moment everything went totally dark? That's why I was scared. Takano had the only light. And anyway, I was scared. At some point, Shion had started holding onto my shirt sleeve. It was a little annoying to walk like that, but I didn't shake her off. That minor sensation allowed me to feel the presence of an ally, here and now. I don't trust Shion either, though. Before we even walked halfway through the storehouse, the air I felt on my skin changed completely. Those cruel tools lined all up, all crammed together in this place. Some were horrible ones that were made to take away sacrifices' freedom, and some were tools made to efficiently disassemble and prepare the bodies for consumption. Those were just the things I understood. There were plenty of other strange-looking objects that I couldn't even guess the purpose of. Now that I was here, I didn't have the slightest desire to hear the details about what sort of terrified reasons they were meant to be used for. Oh man. At the very least, they were all completely different from the sort of clean, simple killing function of a katana. Tools to kill people were obviously constructed in such a way that they could kill people. If that was the goal, then the person you used them on would obviously end up dead. The kinds of tools here, however, were different. The tools that were here were for cutting people, for crushing them, for boiling them and cooking them, and for grinding them. They were the tools of torture. They weren't made to kill people. People dying was just an incidental result. Actually, that might not even kill them. If the sacrifices could die during such a horrifying ritual process, that would be nice, but they don't even die in the end. They remain in a state of hellish pain. Perhaps they were only being allowed to live. Only now in this moment did I fully realize just how terrifying and fearsome that difference was.
人ってね、上手にやると結構殺さずに済むものらしいの。
Why are you smiling about that? Takano, as if reading my mind, displayed a shocking smile.
魔女狩りで有名な家系。火あぶりなんかは。
No! Not immediately! You're definitely going to be in horrifying agony for like a minute.
全身の皮膚が広範囲にわたって重度の火傷を負うと、組織の分解産物で中毒症状を引き起こし、重度なショックを併発しちゃうから。
I previously thought burning alive would be like one of the worst ways of going, but actually it would be over in about a minute.
まあ、確かにそれに至るまでが ギロチンなんかに比べれば
Guillotine is legit one of the more humane ways of execution, because it's pretty much instantaneous. It's horrifying, but hey, you get decapitated, no ifs, ands, or buts, and you're gonna die like instantly from that. She described such horrors in a vaguely medical way. She is a nurse, but this is taking it way too far. Shion immediately answered the question I had.
高野さん、看護師さんですから。
There is a saying that nothing can scare a doctor. I guess it's true. She's a nurse, not a doctor. She's like, alright, that's it, you little
ローマの時
bleep!
代の処刑方法にね、網焼きというものがあったの。
True, they would.
バーベキューと同じにね。
Yep, it was pretty terrifying.
金網で挟みつけて炭火でじっくりと焼いたんですって。
To think the memories of when I went to a day camp with my family would come rushing back now of all time so vividly.
これだとね、どういうわけかなかなか死なないらしいのよ。ものの本によると一昼夜かけて片側が炭化するくらいこんがり焼いてもまだ意識があって流暢に話をしたなんて記述も出てくるから。
Never underestimate the potential for human cruelty. That's insane. You'd grill someone the whole day and they'd still be conscious. It's said that ancient Rome, famous for their executions, thought of plenty of ways to execute someone while having the victim stay alive as long as possible.
その中にね、
Yep.
お腹を開いて腸をウインナーみたいに引っ張り出してウィンチで引っ張り出して晒し物にする系があったんですって。
Shion was behind me, clinging to me. Not just because she was scared, she was protecting her stomach.
臓物を引っ張り出すなんて聞いただけでもすぐに死んじゃいそうでしょ。でもね、丁寧に優しくやるとね、意識がはっきりとした状態のまま腹渡を引きずり出すこと。
How do you know all this, Takano? I'm pretty sure this is not included in the med school prerequisites. I felt a sick feeling in my stomach. It was like my organs were coiling up just from Takano's stare. Alright, folks. As soon as we're out of here, we gotta get Tomatake with a different girl. This one's too
ウィン
creepy.
チで引っ張り出すっていうのはなんだか大行な方法。
Man, Rika's been dancing for hours now!
もっと野蛮に裂いた腹から臓物をちぎっては投げちぎっては投げというそんな恐ろしい刑もあったんじゃないかって十分に考えられない。でも処刑者には意識があるの。それは痛い以上に恐ろしい体験なんでしょうね。
She spoke with pleasure, as if she had come here on a sightseeing trip. I heard Shion gulping multiple times due near my ears.
ひなみ沢のいえ鬼ヶ淵村の綿流しもそんな感じだったのかしらね。ほら耳を澄ませば聞こえてくるような気がしない？
I wanted nothing more than to not hear anything at all. So why? Why only at times like these do I begin to hear things I shouldn't be able to hear? Takano, having realized she'd scare Shion and I enough at this point, smiled soothingly. Then she turned on her heel, raised the lantern, and began to walk again. But she didn't even get to crucifixion, which was the nastiest of the ways to go. If Takano-san left us here, we'd get even further away from the light. Shion and I, no matter how scared we were forced to follow Takano along the field trip for the ritual storehouse. Yeah. There's a difference between executing someone, like, quickly because they've murdered someone, and, like, giving them an excruciatingly long, torturous death. Like, that's... Even if you're pro-death penalty, like, you gotta be against that. Like, come on. Just deal with the trash, as quickly as possible, I would say. Let's get out of the storehouse. No, we're still here. Well, first she went here because she wanted to see the tools, but then she spent the entire time telling us gruesome stories. She says that, raising the lantern high in the center of the storehouse. The dim lighting didn't change, but for some reason it felt like I was able to see all of those horrible tools at once.
ケイちゃん、上。
Shion stammered while grabbing the nape of my neck. I couldn't tell because it was so dark, but there were a lot more tools hanging from the ceiling as well. They all looked like they were made of iron bars, but then I figured it out. Cages. For cages, they were very small. Cramped cages for just one, like a casket. If you got locked up in there... No, you wouldn't get locked up inside it. It was another tool meant for restraining people, where the iron bars would squeeze you tightly. So many big and large things of all shapes were hanging down. Takano's mention of the execution by grilling crosses my mind. We weren't just surrounded on all sides by these terrifying instruments. Things crowding the ceiling were even hanging over our heads.
ヨーロッパの拷問道具にこういった鳥かごがたくさん登場するわね。日本にもあったなんて驚きだわ。
ケイちゃん、あれ中に入ってない？人？ミイラ？
どれ？
Also, folks, have we forgotten that there's a nasty, like, fish gut smell in here? There's definitely a dead body in here somewhere. Shion desperately pointed to one of the many human-sized bird cages hanging from the ceiling, but I couldn't tell which one she meant. Being that dark, there wasn't any way you could tell if something was in there in the first place.
私には何も見えないけど。
Liar.
見間違いじゃないの？
Are people ever just seeing things? Shion didn't seem convinced, but without a means to confirm it for ourselves, we couldn't do much but wonder.
これで前原君にもなんとなく信じられるようになったんじゃないかしら。ひなみ沢に伝えられる恐ろしい儀式の数々が。
I'm not convinced this isn't just Takano's version of a haunted house. It's got nothing to do with believing in them. Now that I've been shown the real thing like this, there's no possible way to deny it. Even the nations of Europe, with all their beautiful landscapes and legends, were like a maelstrom during the terrible witch hunts in the Dark Ages. It's well known that the era gave birth to countless gruesome forms of torture and execution. Japan was the same way. Pretty much every country was that way. Didn't it have its own era of a hellscape-like torturous feasts because of religious suppression and things of that nature? Hinamizawa itself had such a period. It had that much history behind it. Even in Europe, land of the witch hunts, that was all far in the past, no more than a series of historical events. And in this age, nothing that abnormal would ever happen. Oh, you say that, but that's actually not true. That must apply to Hinamizawa as well.
中世の暗黒時代とかがそうだったように、ひなみ沢にも暗黒時代があった。そういうものなんだと解釈します。本当にひなみ沢でこういう恐ろしいことがあったのだとしても、それは大昔の出来事なんです。今暮らしているひなみ沢の人々とは何の関係もないことです。
前原君は本当にひなみ沢が好きなのね。
It didn't sound like she was making fun of me. Takano gave me a light smile.
でも高野さんはその風習が実は現代にも残っているんじゃないかと思って研究をしてるんです。そうでしたよね。
Shion suggested something that made my heart bleed into my throat. My harp! Are you telling me that also those horrible things are still going on even today?
これ本当に内緒なんだからね。
There's more? How am I going to split this up into multiple VODs?
しおんちゃんは理解のある人だから話したけど、他の村人には聞かれたくないの。下手をしたら罰当たり者ってことで袋叩きにされかねない。
Oh, I wouldn't want that, creepy lady. Shion flashed a devilish smile as if reveling in the immorality of it. No, she didn't. She's definitely frowning.
前原君も内緒にしてね。知られたら私、お社様のたたりに遭うか、生贄にされちゃうかするかもしれない。
Okay, I believe you.
たたりなら、今年はどんな死に方をさせられちゃうのかしら。生贄なら、鬼ヶ淵の沼に生きたまま沈められちゃうのかしら。そういえば今夜よね。 お社様のたたりがある。
You're doing a really good job of trying to make me think that you're responsible for these murders. Takano said that, bringing her face right up close to ours. As if to say that she had the choice, that she'd rather suffer the curse. That was what she seemed to be implying. Takano took a fairly worn notebook out of her paper bag, then began to flip through its pages. There were all sorts of references and newspaper clippings attached to them, and it had all manner of things written inside. The letters are very small and bunched together, so I couldn't tell at a glance what it was all about.
本当は国会図書館で当時の新聞を探したいんだけどね。ほら、ここ。
A photocopy of a page from some book was slid into the notebook, and it too was written in small, tight lettering. Like the other pages, I couldn't tell what it was just by glancing at it.
これは実際にあったお話よ。明治の終わり頃にね。
What I'm curious about is how much longer Chapter 2 is going to be, because I was hoping I would finish it next stream, but that actually might not happen, because we're still on the festival. And at least in Chapter 1, there is a huge amount of the chapter after the festival. Like half of it.
鬼ヶ淵村で身元不明の惨殺死体が発見されたんですって。
Uh-oh. An old newspaper clipping attached to the page spoke of something that was no mere rumor or fairy tale.
当時の警察の資料がほとんど残ってないそうだから、口伝と記憶によるものだけなんだけどね。ほら、これ不鮮明だけど、明治の頃の新聞の切り抜きみたい。
Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Could it be the work of a demon? Being a copy of a copy, it was very hard to make out, but it was more than enough to make me feel strangely tense. Yep, this is her notebook. Near the end of the Meiji area. In old Onagafuchi village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult. Yeah. I think once we get to the end of her ghost stories, I will be calling it for the night. And if I have to do an extra stream after next week, then fine. I just kind of want to finish Chapter 2 in October. I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This is the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination. Flaying is one of the worst ways of going too. Why are you saying all this with a smile?
さらに遺体を分解解剖と残虐の限りを尽くしたのではないかって筆者は見ているわね。私はどの工程も生きているうちにやったんじゃないかって思ってるんだけどね。前原君はどう思うかしら。
I think you're creeping me the F out and I'm leaving. She's spoken a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then, when I broke my gaze from Takano's, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even so, they were so strange, so terrifying. These tools... And as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently.
その薄気味悪い事件が何だって言うんですか？
筆者はね、鬼ヶ淵村の恐ろしい習慣は明治以降の近代。ひょっとすると昭和初期くらいまでは残ってたんじゃないかって結んでるわ。
This corpse, at a glance, appeared to have been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange, that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era, though, which is too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it.
でも本当にあったとしたって昔のことですよね。明治なんて言ったらそれこそ100年くらい前の。
たったよ。たった100年前のことよ。
It's true.
それにね、昭和に入ってからだってあるんだから。
No, really?
終戦直後に騒ぎになった人肉缶詰事件。
Bet.
ごめんなさい。
Canned flesh.
この話はタブーだったわよね。
Takano immediately stopped talking as if I have worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared.
今高野さんなんて言いました？人肉缶詰って。
Just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomatake, who had opened the door slightly. Hey, guys, you've been in there for like 3 hours, and everybody went home.
驚かせちゃったかな?
That's pretty recent, yeah. Even so, the idea that like crazy things like that happened 100 years ago, it puts things into perspective. It's not just like, oh well, people were really different back then. It's like, they really weren't. Human nature never changes.
ここ素敵な拷問道具の宝庫よ。
No wonder this guy wanted to. This guy is super based. He's like, I don't really want to look at torture devices, but my girlfriend is weird like this. You can go in.
僕は遠慮させてもらうよ。生来ね、こういうのは苦手なんだ。
Takano held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity.
それより、
He don't have to prove his masculinity to anybody. Look at that bod.
演舞とセレモニーが終わって、みんな沢の方に降りていったよ。あと何分もしないうちにお祭りは終わっちゃう。
あらいけない。前原くんがあまりにも聞き上手だから、またお話三昧になっちゃったわ。
Hey, listen, dude. I think you need to break up with your girlfriend. She's no good. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this.
次郎さんは表で待っててくれるかしら。私はちょっと写真を撮るわね。
That's taboo.
本当はいくつか道具を持って帰りたいんだけど。
Bruh!
それはさすがに無理そうだから。
Do not let her anywhere near those tools. Takano took a camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. Rika literally danced for hours. This was not one of those Fire Emblem dances where you do it and then they can move again. No, this is like, no, my gosh, she had to use the hoe for like 2 hours and she can barely lift the fiend. Oh, I feel bad for her. Except not really, because she made a very creepy advance on us.
ケイチ君も出るかい？
もう十分に見ましたので。シオン、もういいだろう。出ようぜ。綺麗な空気が吸いたいよ。
同感です。出ましょう。
Keiichi, have you ever wondered why I only have 3 fingers on my left hand? Oh, we're not talking about that! I do feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano by herself in this darkness. No, she's good. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. No, it's not rude! 100% accurate. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano there, bathed in the strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Don't go playing that happy music on me now. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place.
どうだい？面白かったかい？
Listen, Tomatake, your girlfriend's weird. Tomatake gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were.
富武さんと一緒に留守番をしてればよかったです。
Tomatake laughed so delightfully that it wiped away our dark feelings.
シオンちゃんはどうだったかな？怖かったかい？
一応心の準備があった分
Are
怖くはなか
you
ったんですけ
sweating?
ど、でもやっぱり実物は迫力あります。
Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in a way worse state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Toмотake grins candidly, in my mind, exhausted and locked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. That was a
高
weird
野さんはお
sentence.
となしく見物してたかな。ほら、彼女子供っぽいところがあるだろう。
Oh, not a child, just a psychopath.
宝の山を前にさぞや興奮してたんじゃない
Oh,
かと
she
思って
definitely
ね。
was. Both Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer.
見るだけならいいんだけどね。こっそりと何かを持ち出したり、いじくりすぎて細具を壊したりしないかが心配なんだよ。
I'd be more worried that she takes them and actually uses them. Right, that's quite possible. She is alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket.
やりかねないです。
Shion said what I was thinking.
本当に何も壊したりしなかったかな。なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえたからね。僕は不安で。
ごめんなさい。
Sorry, I broke everything.
フィルムがなくなっちゃったわ。
How many pictures were you taking?
ジローさん、フィルムが余ってたら
I want to borrow your camera. She's taking selfies in front of all these like creepy torture devices and posting them to her Instagram. Takano suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Toмотake smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. He is an adult.
もう予備のフィルムは切れちゃったよ。申し訳ないね。
I used all my film taking photos of the Sonozaki twins.
もういついかなる時でもフィルムを残しておかないと決定的スクープ写真なんか撮れないわよ。仕方ないわね。
Toмотake scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, and then closed the door and turned the heavy padlock that we'd left beside it.
高野さん、何も持ち出してないだろうね。
失礼ね。そこまで子供じゃないつもりよ。
Clack! Toмотake set the padlock back the way it was before. Shaggy is still playing Resident Evil. From a cursory glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all.
よし、僕たちも沢に行こう。綿を流すところくらいやらないとお祭りに来た意味がないよ。
What do you mean? We helped sell a bunch of food. Toмотake spoke brightly, urging us all on, setting cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse.
もうこれっきりにしてくれ
I
よ。
left my apricot fruit lever in there.
十分に知的好奇心は満たせ
まさか。むしろ新しい興味を惹かれるような発見ばかりよ。今日のでこれまでの仮説が一気に現実になったわ。これで今後の調べ方がだいぶ変わってくるんだから。
Wow, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. We descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over.
まずったな。綿流しの一番いいところを撮影し損ねたよ。
あら、まだ遅くないわよ。私が行って流すんだから。私を撮ってはくださらないのかしら？
For the gram, Takano, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomotake's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Toмотake, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman.
じゃあね。
He's like, well, she is hot.
前原くん、しおんちゃんも。
僕たちは今からでも沢に行ってみるよ。君たちも一緒に来るかい？
まさか。
If we go with him, can we stop him from getting his throat clawed out?
お二人の邪魔なんてできません。どうぞごゆっくり。
If he dies again, it's 100% Takano. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano's. Toмотake-san, on his part, seemed to want us to come, but whatever. He knows! He knows what's going to happen. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps.
疲れちゃいました。
同感だな。俺も疲れた。
ケイちゃんは綿流し初めてなんですよね。 私なんか気にしないで行ってきてください。私は疲れちゃったんで、人混みはちょっとパスしておきます。
Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. Why didn't we just watch, Rika?
お姉たちがケイちゃんのことを探してるかもしれませんから。
Would have been a nicer evening.
行ってきてください。
They probably went
あ、
home.
そうだ。ミオンたちと別れたままそれっきりだったな。探してると悪い。
Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret.
お姉ってすっごく嫉妬深いんです。私がケイちゃんを独占してたことがバレるといろいろうるさいんで、今夜のことは秘密にしておいてくださいね。
Wow. Thanks, DX. Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things like that that are so embarrassing.
そういう意味だけじゃないですよ。今夜私たちがしたことを思えば秘密にするのは当然です。
They're totally gonna think we were making out with her.
今夜起こるかもしれないお社様のたたり。私たち4人が最有力候補なんですからね。
The loosening threads of tension began taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing.
じゃあ私はお姉に出くわす前に退散します。
Gotta get an alibi.
今日は本当に疲れてるからお姉とやり合えるだけの体力はないですし。
シオンってミオンと仲がいいのか悪いのかよくわからないな。
I don't think they do.
仲いいですよ。
Okay, I believe you. Although she said that, her vague expression explained that there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins.
俺は一人っ子だからよくわかんないな。せいぜい仲良くしろよ。
はい、余計なおせっかいと承ります。それじゃあ私はこの辺で。ケイちゃんも急いで行った方がいいですよ。本当に綿流しが終わっちゃいます。
Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me.
でも本当にあの音は何だったんでしょうね。不愉快というか気味が悪いというか。
え、何の音だって？
音ですよ。ドタンバタンって。うるさかったじゃないですか。
I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too.
ごめんシオン。はしょらないで最初から説明してくれないか。何がうるさかったって？
ケイちゃん、あれ気にならなかったんですか？
When all said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages.
シオン、冗談抜きで初めから説明してくれないか。音がどうしたって？
ケイちゃんこそ冗談抜きで本当の本当に気にならなかったんですか？
Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and asked politely one more time.
もう一度聞くからな。質問は俺からだ。
Shion nodded silently.
じゃあ聞くぞ。音がしたって何のことだ？
ドタンバタンってなんだかどこか遠くの板の間で子供が跳ねてるような。
It was probably just Rika using the hoe.
本当に気にならなかったんですか？
気にならないも何も。そんな音いつ聞こえた？俺は何も聞いてないぞ。
ちょっとケイちゃん、それ本気で言ってるんですか？
She going crazy. Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it has Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine.
さっき最後殿の中で高野さんと一緒に見て回ってる最中、高野さんが昔話を始めた頃からかな、少しずつだんだんとちょくちょくと。
She heard a banging sound, like a child jumping on distant floorboards.
嘘だろ？
Wait, Toмотaki said the same thing.
最後の最後で怖がらせるのはなしだぜ、おい。
I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening.
ケイちゃんこそ怖がらせないでください。
Yeah, Keiichi was hearing weird noises in Chapter 1, wasn't he?
なんだか高野さんの怖い話に合わせて音を立ててるようで、私ずっと薄気味悪かったんですから。
Well, this is a harbinger of doom. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over.
ケイちゃんも高野さんも全然意にも介さない風だったので、私も聞こえないふりをずっとしてましたけど、聞こえましたよね。何度かはすごく大きな音でしたから。
I think so. Shion's eyes were beginning to tell me that, begging me to tell her that I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've got to be kidding look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear, by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did.
なんだよ突然。
引っかかりましたね、ケイちゃん。
I don't believe that's a joke.
嘘ですよ。嘘。
No.
はあ
Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. I don't believe that. Her smile seemed somehow artificial, and it actually made me feel worse. Then, after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left, almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Shion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomatake-san said the same thing, didn't he? He did!
なんだかドタンバタンと飛び跳ねるような音がよく聞こえたからね。僕は不安で不安で。
Tomatake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said that he'd heard something. Then, that noise, it was real? The banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Oyashiro-sama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano, Tomatake, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch. Hi, Rika. I saw the whole thing. It was great. Really long, though. It was Rika. When I turned around, Mion and Rena were there, too.
やっと見つけた。あとはさとこか。
Maybe
今年はみんなはぐれちゃったね。
Maybe Satoko was jumping and we just didn't notice.
来年からはちゃんと交流場所を決めておきたいな。
そうだね。やっぱりお祭りはみんなと一緒でないとね。
I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of a guilt.
ケイチは僕の演舞はちゃんと応援してくれましたですか？
ああ、ちゃんと見てたぜ。
Really?
最後までちゃんと頑張ったな。ミスもなかったし。
She's like, how could you even know that? This was your first time watching it.
うん、そうだよリカちゃん。あんなのはミスのうちに入らないよ。
I tensed up as I'd realized I'd made a mistake of my own. Uh-oh, that's not good. Mion, what have I told you about my personal space? Mion slapped a hand on my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body.
ケイちゃんはやった？綿をもらって沢に流した？
You haven't yet, right? Is that what I could hear her saying? Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head.
あれ？そうなのケイチ君。早く行かないと終わっちゃうよ。
I would not be surprised. Rika is probably exhausted right now.
終わっちゃうよ。
ごめん。初めてのお祭りだからさ。よくルールがわからなくて。
そうだったね。ごめん。
Mion took my hand and we started walking down the stone steps.
ねえケイちゃん。
なんだよ。
シオンには会わなかった？
Why do you ask? We made out. My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand.
いや、でも、姿を見たような。
Don't lie. We all know, Keiichi, as soon as you started lying, everyone went crazy.
でも、ミオンとそっくりだからな。ミオンだったのかもしれないし。
そんなに間違えないでしょ。服装だって違うんだから。
She changed and did her hair. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me.
しょうがないな、シオンは。まあ、あいつのことだから、放っておいても大丈夫かな。
Mion's expression returned to her former usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, for her firmly pulling my hand along. Oh my gosh, we finally get the break. Haha, you're playing Higurashi when they cry. Yuck, yuck, yuck. How many tips are we gonna get? New tips unlocked. Scrapbook 4, 5, and after the festival. Alright, sweet. Plumbing the depths. Discover what's in the storehouse. Cool. Alright. We'll read the tips and we'll end the stream. Because it's getting late. Watanagashi. The rite of Watanagashi is performed during the village festival every June, even now, but reading back on its origins turns up a seriously sanguine ceremony. Originally, Watanagashi would happen at certain intervals, and after receiving Oyashiro-sama's trust, they chose a sacrifice. Then the entire village would kidnap, demon away the person, and ceremonially dissect and devour them in a feast. The rules that determine the intervals are shrouded in mystery. This is because the ceremonies occurred extremely irregularly. There's a theory that it was determined based on astrological fortune-telling, but it isn't too convincing. The residents of ancient Onigafuchi village firmly believed that they were half-man, half-demon transcendents, and that they were more valuable than humans were, and they forced people within and without to accept that. Perhaps the act of kidnapping and eating people was done to prove that they were higher up on the food chain. This is just a hypothesis, but maybe the rite of Watanagashi was a political event for the purpose of being an outlet for, or outright diverting the attention of, the villagers of the isolated Onigafuchi village. In any case, any of their complaints or dissatisfactions grew serious. If that was the main reason these ceremonies were held, then it's easy to explain how erratic they were. Thanks, Takano. Your notes are weird, and so are you. Yeah, it definitely sounded like she was going to beat up the Shion. From scrapbook number 5. The alleged importance of the implements. I can't find anything that gives a concrete description of what the ritual implements were like. They were, however, real, and there definitely existed a multitude of different kinds. One source states that the implements used in the Watanagashi rite alone numbered 200. The obvious question, then, is why they required such a myriad of them. The rite of Watanagashi was to kidnap people through the demoning away, dissect them, and eat them. I believe the tools were for dissection and restraining, but 200 of them is far too many. Generally, tools evolve in such a way as to reach a solution for a certain problem. Once you've reached the ultimate goal, that is, attained a certain level of efficiency, the tool's evolution normally stops there. Regardless, why would they have created so many different kinds? One of the cultural elements responsible for diversification over time is that of entertainment. Tools used for entertainment would evolve over time and branch out. Unlike normal tools, reaching the ultimate goal would be more of a dead end, and in searching for the next goal, that would split into many different subtypes. So then perhaps it's not a stretch to suggest that these 200-plus implements had some entertainment value. This is just a hypothesis, of course, but maybe the human dissection process was viewed as a type of entertainment. The free families of old would develop the one new implement, dissection tool, after another, and each one was very novel and attracted spectators to keep them from growing bored. It's not unimaginable. All of them have to be enshrined within that storehouse. There isn't much longer until the night of Watanagashi. Though its original intent has been lost, I will reveal the secrets of the traditional ceremonial night within this ritual storehouse. I can't restrain my excitement. Watanagashi cannot come soon enough. Alright, Takano, you're super weird. And the fact that you're obsessed with and gleeful about these torture devices in history is pretty messed up. Oh, she's just a history buff. She could be a history buff about anything, but she's a history buff about torture. Oh, we're going back to Uishi, the police guy. Maybe we'll get to hear who died. Late that night, tensions in the police station were strained. In the silence, many of the staff members' eyes shifted back and forth between the clock and their telephones, counting the seconds in that stifled atmosphere. Kumagaya-kun burst in with a young guy trailing behind him.
おいさん、こっちは検診入りました。
Oh,
じいさまも
autopsy!
さっき到着です。
So someone did
俺
die.
もスタンバイ OK しました。このまま焼死の現場へ直行します。
Burned? That's different. It's not claw out.
ちょっと話がややこしくなりました。向こうは身元の判別が非常に困難な状態だそうです。
Well, if they're seriously burned, then yeah, it can be difficult to identify the body, especially if DNA testing did not exist
ま
back
さ
then.
か4年前のあれっすか？
いいえ、こんがりといい感じだそうで。
Okay, it's a different death method this time. He spoke in sportive tones, but the meaning behind his words was heavy. The staff gave a collective sigh.
頭のてっぺんから丸々？
バッチリ黒焦げだそうで。
Oh, Lord.
ああいう匂いってこもるんですよね。
I would not want to perform the autopsy on that one.
ギフさん、かわいそうだな。
Cooked with no possessions, then discarded outside the prefecture. At worst, it would have taken a week for the body to be identified. The fact that they had sniffed it out tonight was huge.
今、小宮山君たちが沖宮の歯科医を根こそぎ野襲してま
Wait,
す。
did this happen in Okinawa?
カルテで歯型照合するしかないでしょう。ごめん、誰かきつめのタバコ2箱ぐらい買ってきてくれません？
I'm gonna need a smoke. The young guy answered in affirmation and darted out into the hallway.
今年は見事見つけましたね。ひょっとすると過去の失踪者もこんな感じで県外で殺されてたんすかね。
なら埋めればいいじゃないですか。重りつけて日本海でも。
Exactly.
琵琶湖でもいいですね。
They want to be found.
でもどうして一人死んで一人消えるのがこれまでのパターンじゃないですか。
クマちゃん、仏は拘束なしでドラム缶の中でこんがりでしょ。
Okay, you
締
know.
められた後にわざわざ焼いたんじゃないかと思う
Okay,
んですよ。
being strangled to death is not nearly as bad as being fully cooked in an oil drum.
見つかることを覚悟の上でです。
じゃあつまり今年は消す気は初めからなかったってことっすか？
消す気がないってよりは、これはそれとは全く別のものでしょうね。消すどころか主張しているようにすら感じられますよ。
つまり見せしめの意味があるってことっすか？
He folded his arms and then heaved a long and heavy sigh.
それをしないでやってくれりゃその線もあるんですがね。こんな遠くまで運んで焼いちゃったら下手したら分かんないでしょう。見せしめにするならひなみ沢の近くでやるべきなんですよ。殺したことを主張したいのに場所は演出効果の確実じゃない遠方。主張したいのか隠したいのか。今年は何考えてるのかな、お社様は。
A telephone ring cut through the heavy silence. A staff member nearby snatched up the receiver.
おいさん、小宮山さんです。出ました。沖宮のデンタルクリニックで3年前に親知らずの治療をしてます。
Oh, so they found a match.
カルテは？
レントゲン付きでバッチリと。
いやー、こんな明け方前に歯医者さんには申し訳ないな。熊ちゃん。
了解っす。あ、課長です。夜分お疲れ様です。
大石さん、遅くなって申し訳ない。状況は？
やっと面白くなってきたってとこですか
Now,
ね。
don't tantalize us. Don't leave us on a
燃え
cliffhanger.
てきたぞー。わーお。
Nope, they're leaving us on a cliffhanger. Well, they identified the body. But we'll have to figure out who that body is next week. Sorry, folks. But I'm tired. And I have work tomorrow, so that's just how it's gonna be. Let's make that nice little save. End of chapter 7. I could maybe look up spoiler-free how many chapters there are to see if we can get it done next stream. I hope we can finish it next stream, otherwise I'll have to do a Halloween stream. Sorry, DX. Yeah, we're ending on a cliffhanger. That's just how it's gonna be. But hey, that gives people a reason to come and join in next week. Thanks for joining in, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We definitely had some interesting lore be revealed to us. Although, again, I'm still not scared. If they just give descriptions of things, it doesn't really scare me. I kind of need visuals in order to be squeamed by it. Anyhow, look forward to that next week, and we'll also be streaming more Backyard Hockey on Wednesday, and I think we'll be doing another Game Roulette stream on Friday as well. So tune in for those. Should be a whole lot of fun. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night, a fantastic week, and God bless everybody.